these glasses, I swear. These glasses, shit. Shit. Let me fix that. How do you do that face? I cannot do the face. I cannot do the face. Hi, Fabio. Hello. How are you doing? Hi, Miss. Hello. Chat. Hi, Rico. Hello, hello. How are y'all doing, people? How is it going? How are you feeling? Hi. Hi, D-Book. Hello. Do you hear me all right? Do you hear me fine? How are you doing? Hi, good Saturday. Have a nice Saturday. Hi, hello, hello. I'm trying to do the face because I have a very cool tweet to do. A very cool tweet. Audio is great. Nice. Nice. I also I have the Go XLR Mini and I want to try it on since I'm having so many new updates. We're from the new setup. I really like this angle. I really, really like this angle. This is gonna be our new chatting one. Would that be okay? Am I gonna be I got a new thing for the camera. I'm gonna get something new for the camera so you can get a little bit closer and I can put you right here so you're more on the front when I'm playing games. And I need to switch these two screens because that one is the one that can go to up to 160 hertz, not hearts, hertz. And that one is not that fast, so I need to switch them on so I have that one on games. But I have you right here now. I have you right here. I'm looking at you. Hi, Bene. Hi, Bene. Don't stay here too long. Don't listen to what I'm gonna say after. Maddie, hi. I'm doing good. How are you doing? Wait. Let me do the tweet. Today I have a very great tweet. Today we are raising money for Thankmas. And wait, where is the end? And WCK word. I have problems with remembering things, chat. I have why should I gift? No, not gift, not gift. I said not gift, not gift. Wait. How do you say the name? I'll explain to you in 1 second. I just need to meet. No, it's word largest kitchen. Word. Oh my god, my brain. My brain is so lost. So lost, gone. Dashboard. Campaigns. Word Central Kitchen. I knew. Word Central Kitchen. Word Central Kitchen. Not Lichten. Kitchen. Donate live and I'll show you my balls. It's not even a clickbait. It's not even clickbait. It's not even clickbait. It is not. It is not. Are you ready? And Ben, that's where you're coming in today. Not with the balls. But with something else. Well, kinda. You are in the conversation about the balls, Bene. Hi, Meta. Hello. You're in the conversation about balls. I'll tell you everything that is gonna happen in 1 second. Let me just do this. I'll do the story. Wait. The suspense. The suspense. I am streaming with the new PC and it's working not bad. I'm keeping a hand down here to see if it gets warm. It is not. You have enough with your own of bowls? Alright. What a weird thing to say. Mike is speaking? Is it still peaking? See, yeah, now it should not be peaking. Now it should not be peaking. Now it should not be peaking. Now it should be okay. Hi Ernesto, hello. How are you doing? How is it going? Okay. Twitch.tv/studyDME. Okay. I explain everything to you right now. I explain to you the mystery of the bowls. Okay. So, mystery of the bowls unlocked. So, today we're raising money for the World Central Kitchen. Later I'll tell you all the informations about it. We're gonna read about it all together because I think that's the best way, because I suck at explaining stuff and you know it. But it's a movement that it was also like that has been done during the last 2 years of like deciding a specific day where every streamer on the platform, or like everyone who wants to join, will be raising money for a specific cause. This year they decided to go for World Central Kitchen, which is, I think, one of the best like situation for us because it's about food. So like what they do is like World Central Kitchen is helping out people since ages to like provide food in the most difficult situation. We're talking about the hurricane in Florida. We're talking about the situation in Ukraine. We're talking about the floods in Afghanistan. There are a lot of situations where they're actually helping, because you know how. What's happening to Mike? Is Mike bad? Is microphone bad? Well, let me know. So that is there is nothing better than food, because food is not just like something that makes you leave, right? But it can, especially if you're from a country where the culture of food is so great. Like for example, in Italy, our culture of food is great. You don't have dinner just to eat dinner, but it's a moment where you're like with other people and you're sharing experience, and that's, having that missing entirely from someone's life must be horrible. So that's what they're providing. This is like a lot of other streamers are doing the same. So you will see like today a lot of other people that are doing the Tankmas. That's how they're called it, like, because it's not just Christmas for like people, Christians ones. Anyway, our goal for today, I set it high. I think that it's a bit high, but we can do our best. Our goal for today is of $1,000. But in order to wait, let me actually put it. I forgot to put it in the campaigns. I need to add it in the. Wait, where is it? No, rewards. So in order to motivate you to have wait, let me do it. To motivate you to have that. To like, to donate, I know you're a sweetheart. I know you are. 1,000 money. I know you are a sweetheart, but still, I know that you also need a little bit of a push. So we have blank ribbon. Wait, let me finish this one. I'll get your name. Okay. Save changes. I don't know. Wait, let me find out a white. How do people donate, G? I have to make the link. Okay, you have the QR code right there, right? But edit white. You have the QR code there, but I'm also gonna send you the link to it. Let me just find it. This one. And where's the link? Oh, copy donate URL. I think this one. This one should be it. This one should be. Can you please, any mod, make, Kami, why did you delete the message? Can you please, ask. Okay, mods, can you please help me to make, a command with that? So, like, donate or something like that. I'm also, then when you decide the name, I'm gonna put it in the title too. I just need to find a white ribbon image. Just, okay. It's definitely not gonna look like this, but we're gonna have to deal with this. Oh, no, that's not. Save image as. Wait, why is it that? Open image in a new. Okay, save image as. Wait, why is it? I cannot open it as a picture. I want a picture of a white ribbon. This is what it's gonna look like. Nope. Save image. Yes. There we go. Done. Save. Activated. Okay. So, we have different rewards. Okay? We have different rewards, chat. For different people. So, this morning I woke up very early, even though I was extremely tired. I woke up very early and I went to get balls. So, for each donation, we have different things that you can get. First thing you can get. Thank you, signori. There's my offer. Define early. I woke up at Thankmas. Donate to feed the world. Thank you so much. Yes, I agree. Can you please add it to the title? That would be lovely, JJ. I love you. So, for $5. No, thank you. Ban. I want for $5. Vanamarki, yes. For $5. I have, hi hidden. I have this. Where the fuck does it start? Where do you start? Where? Shit. Man, where do you start? Where is your ending? Where's your beginning? Is it still peaking? Is the mic still peaking? Is the mic still peaking? Oh, shit. Well, listen. Oh, shit. Okay. Hi from it. Oh yeah, yesterday we fixed the true. Yesterday. No, I removed the game yesterday. I'm gonna sound. Well, now it should be better. It peaks when I scream. Okay, no, let me fix that. You're also kind of barking. I'm barking. Holy shit, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bark. So. Okay. Now you hear me, right? Now you hear me very well. Now you hear me extremely well, right? So, you are on the new screen. So, for $5 donation, my mouse is dying. For $5 donation, I'm gonna take this beautiful ribbon. This beautiful, you can see it. It's very translucent. It's very For each 5, you can get your name on the tree. Fuck. On the tree. Then, moving onward. For each 10. For each 10, we have a new ball. A new set of balls. These are green to stay with the aesthetics, but they're a little bit more visible than the white ones. And these ones, they're not gold, they're green. They're green, man. But they're more visible. Balls. You get, for 10, you get a ball. They look gold, no, they're actually green, I promise you. It's like a green, like a olive. They're gold, okay. They're gold balls, okay? Let's think of, okay. If that makes you feel better, gold balls. And this one is kind of unlimited. These ones, we only have 20. Only 20 balls. For $10 donations for food. Imagine how many how many things you can get for with 10 euros, $10, like how many meals, maybe one, you know, like one, maybe eight something. It depends where you are. The Word Central Kitchen can do more than that. So maybe think about it. This is 10, all right? Then, for the crazy ones, the one I have a very, very visible name. This, it's for the 20s. For the 20s. These are for the 20s. These are made of wood. Italian wood. I don't know if it's Italian wood. Wood! And your name is gonna be very, very visible in this one. And it's gonna be very different from everything else that there is on there. This is for the 20s. And these we have only 12. Only 12. Alright? Okay. Wood, yes. Then, moving on to the crazy ones. To the crazy ones. That wanna go for the 50. 50, that's a lot. That's why they get a little bit of they get a one with a heart on it. And I'm gonna write them something here. Right? 50, that's a lot. This is for 50. 50 is a lot, but it's a lot for like donation. It's a day that we spend to give back what we got during the year. There we go. This is pretty one. You see? Still Italian wood? Yes. Extremely Italian wood. Yes, also this one is Italian wood. Okay. And maybe I can also write something on it. Oh, we have only 4. Oh, there are 5. I don't know how to count. Nice. It was a donation day. Yeah. It's a charity one. It's a charity stream, as you can see. Close my cause. Hashtag close my cause. Anyway, erase 20. Wait, where is the alert? We erased 20. Where is the alert? Am I crazy? I did. It is written 20 there, right? From Rick Astley himself? From Rick Astley? A 20? Oh, it doesn't do any sound? A Rick Astley? For 20. Rick Astley, thank you. Rick Astley, thank you for the 20s. Wait, so 20s is a ball. No. Yes. No, 20 is their name on this. I'm still confused. So, we have 5 the ribbon, 10 the ball, 20. Oh my god. Ball were 5, yes. No, ball were not 5. Ribbon is 5. There should be music, but there is not. There is. There we go. You're gonna write them down, thank you. So, we have oh! Stoic! 80! You don't even know what there is for 80! Oh, you're gonna have that one. Wait, you're gonna have that one with a heart? Shit! We're already at 100? Shit, John! Fuck! Thank you so much. You're so fucking generous. Okay, wait. I'm gonna write yours also on the wood. Wait, I didn't show you the 100 one. There is also the 100 for the very crazy one, but that's why we only have 3 of them. We have a beautiful soft ribbons. Stoic, thank you so much for the 80. Holy fucking shit. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Wait, let me write Rick Astley here. Crazy horses. Okay, I'm gonna write the Rick Astley on here. How do you write Rick Astley? I should wake up? What do you mean I should wake up? Emma, svegliati, zia. I am very much awake. Wait, so Rick wait. How is it called? The thing at 5? White ribbon. The white ribbon. You want the ribbon? Which one? Yes, Stoic. Yes, you get the... Yes, if you donate 20 more, You get the big ribbon. Yes. What if we have 4 100 donation? Then if we have 4, so okay, listen. So what I was thinking for the Astley. Wait, let me write down Rick. Rick Astley. Okay, we have Rick Astley on our tree. Wait, where is my face? We have Rick Astley. Use this for reference, G? No, it's fine. No, okay, so I was thinking, to the top donator, so if there is someone that donates more than 100, like the top one at the end of the day, is gonna get the point. We don't have the point of the tree. And I haven't bought it yet. So I'm gonna make the point. I'm gonna text the person that, I'm gonna DM the person that donated the most. And I'm gonna check with them what Stoic. Okay, Stoic, I got you with the ribbon. We got the first ribbon. Oh my god, we already have one ribbon out. Maybe I underestimated you, chat. Shit. Stoic, thank you for the 100 dono. I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much. Mario. That is to me. No. No, that's the wrong tipping. Wait, let me remove the tipping for today. Shit, that's the wrong tipping. Mario, were they supposed to go to charity? Let me turn off let me turn off my own donations for today. No donations to me today. No donations. I don't want anything. Today, no subs, no nothing, alright? Merry Christmas, Toik. Merry Christmas. Gonna donate for sure once I get my salary too. No. No worries. Oh, was it? Okay, Mario, I'm gonna give it back to... Let me donate to them. Wait. Let me donate to them for you. From my own... Yeah, not cryptocurrencies, thank you. I'm gonna give 10 from you. Meta, you son. Meta. I said no. I said no to me. Appreciate you for the gifted, but no to me. Thank you. I'll give you a oh, you get a Christmas ball. Select this reward. Paying. Wait for it. Wait for it. You have to keep me on track on what I have to do, by the way, because otherwise I forget everything. There we go. Did it go? You said no donation? Oh, the name is no donations, please. You're dumb. I swear, you're dumb. Did it went through? Yes, it went through. Mario, I got your donations too. I got yours too. Okay, let me put on the Rick Astley one. Thank you so much, by the way, Mario. There. Remind me that I have to... Wait, let me turn off my donations to me. No. I don't want any. Tipping settings. Go off. Off. Tipping settings. Off. Off! Off! How do I turn it off? Yes, I ate everything, Mario. I might have eaten everything. Oh, well. Listen, if anything gets to me, it's gonna go on PayPal and then I'm gonna pay it back. I might gonna be paying taxes though on it. So wait, actually. Well, let's just don't do mistakes. If someone else does it again, I'm gonna... Kami! Kami, thank you for the 25. Wait, let me do the Stoic. Ribbon. Donation tax free. It is complicated because it's getting through Stream Elements, so it's just tricky. I just rather not have, like, I'm just, yeah. Anyway, Stoic. Look at your ribbon. Let me see if you can see it on here. Yes, you can. Stoic. Viper, is it written? Okay, it's written like that. You're one of the 3. The only 3 people that are gonna get this. Wait, focus, Stoic, Viper. You're the one of the 3 only. Alright, let me put it up. Let me put it. Funziona tutto. Yeah, my dad was scared because this morning it was not working. Look at you! Let me... Oh, it's gonna get so pretty! It's gonna get so pretty! Who will be the other 2? Who knows? Close so you don't have to go there every time. It's fine, it's fine. It's actually really close. It's just like, it's fine. No worries. So then we have Mario. By the way, thank you so much for donating for the cause. You know that it's extremely meaningful. Extremely meaningful. So the 10 was the ball. 10 was the ball? 10 was the ball. No. Yes. 10 was the ball. Kami wants a ball. Kami wants a ball. Dutch accent? No, it's Italian one. The golden ball. Yes, the golden ball. You don't want the ball? What do you mean you don't want the ball? What do you want? I say the woody thingy. You cannot choose what you want. Oh, coming in at 25. Wait, this is 10. Oh, 10. I'm stupid, Kami. Yes. Kami, yes, Kami. Yes, I'm stupid. Kami, I'm stupid. Yes. The Italian wood. That's the 20. I need to remember. Wait, let me put them on a scale because I forget. That is 10. This is 20. This is 15. This is 100. And the ribbon is 5. Okay. I need to put clarity in my brain. Sorry, Kami. I got you. Kami, what do you want me to put? Do you want me to put your name or your Twitch name? I can F with Kami. Okay. Okay, Gadget is available. Okay, I was scared because it was not answering. I did not break it. Twitch name. Okay, I got you with Lakapari. Lakapari. And a little hut for you, Kami. But you didn't have to, Kami. Well, I mean, I still haven't got... I wanted to get the mods a specific ball for them. Come on. A specific ball for them. I wanted to get them like... Kami wanted a squirrel, Arya wanted a cat, and Jalfor wanted the ugliest one I could find. But the place where I went to had no animals at all. So like... Wait, let me put it here. Okay. I really like the aesthetic. It's so cute. It had no animals, so I need to go to another place. I'll go to another one to find something. Mario. Mario was 10, so Mario is the ball. Mario will have a ball. I got you. You see, I'm improving, chat. I'm improving. Yes. But I went to... You didn't know anything about the World Central Kitchen? It's super cool? It is super cool. Oh, thank you for that. Thank you, JJ. I'm so gonna cut my... How do I... Use the nails? Nah. No light on the tree? I haven't found any light. Like, all the lights were too big for the tree. So you got this bulb, but I need to get the things that are under. Who does that? Who does that? Like... Morbu! Don't! Thank you for the sub. Appreciate you. Today not me, but appreciate you very much. Morbo, thank you for that. I appreciate you for the support to me. But let's support families that need food. I'm eating way too much already. I appreciate you though. Welcome in the gang. Okay, we're gonna have to. Oh shit! Oh my god! I think that I misunderstood how complicated is the situation with the balls, because now I have to put this little thingy. Wait, no. Here, with the previous balls, they also gave us these things, so we can use these things for that. By the way, in 7 minutes, I'm gonna be jumping in a call with Chris. So we're gonna start to learn about sign language. You might wanna stay because, like, first of all, we're learning something cool. Second of all, I'm gonna be able. Maria, hi, long time no see. How are you doing? Oh wait, let me write your name. You're gonna be able to join with the. Holy fucking shit. Holy fucking shit. Who was that? Mochi, thank you for the $10. Appreciate you. Who was that? Someone just donated $400. What is the 400 gift? That's the point. I don't have anything over 100. I didn't expect this. But I was saying, like, there's only 1 point of the tree, so the top donator would have the point. But if it's anonymous, how am I gonna choose it with anonymous? I wanted to, like, text them and be like, oh, do you prefer this one or this other? And, like, we choose it together. The top donator will get the point as they want. Right chat? Oh, right chat. That could be also cute. Shit, thank you so fucking much for the $400 donation. Holy fucking shit. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It really means, you have no idea how much it means. It will be helping so much. Oh my god. Thank you for that. That's so lovely. I fucking love you, I swear. Let me do the ball for Mario Mastro. Mario. Mastro. We're already like halfway there. What the heck? We're already halfway to the goal? What the fuck? Muchi also got the ball. Yes. Oh, Muchi also got the ball. Yeah. I noticed that. I got you, Muchi, with your. I'm gonna get this other ball. This one. This is for Mario. This is the ball for Mario. You are a ball. Yes. Muchi, do you want only Muchi? Mario Mastro. I'm sorry, I didn't think it was going to be this crazy. I underestimated you. Muchi? Okay. I made it look. I'm gonna try to write in a better way on these bowls than the white ones. It's cute. I appreciate, again, whoever did that anonymous donation, I appreciate you so fucking much. I appreciate you so much. Bob, if you want to be on the start, you have to be the top donator. You have to be the top donator to be on the start. And it's for charity. So, I mean, okay, we have a Mario ball here. This is the first green one that we put on. Mario ball goes there. And this one goes over here. Mochi over there. Oh, Mareko! Mareko, thank you so much for the 4 months with the Prime. I appreciate you. Don't do it anymore. Well, Prime you're not paying, so it's fine. Primers can still come along. Primers can still come along, but you know. We should add something to show who's the top donator, how much they donated, so if someone wants to be first, they know. Oh, fair? True. Should we do that? Should we do that? Let me find a way to... Oh. Let me find a way. Write the donation price in the stream so also the people that join us late will be able to know without asking. Oh, if you go on donation, you see the different options. Like you can click on it. Let the donation competition begin. As long as it's something that is healthy for you. I can use the pomoc command. Fair. Thank you for reminding me that I have that. Text. Add existing. Pomo counter. No, not saying break. Up here. Maybe down here, actually. Wait, let me make it so I can see something. Hi, Sheeny, by the way, I saw you. Hi, Preety, how are you doing? Sorry, we're having... Why am I struggling so hard to make something? What? Okay. Sheeny, how are you doing? How is it going? Okay, so now if we do... Oh, can I make it black and put it at the bottom? You're right, actually. Select color. Okay. And then if I write in chat... I'm very... Shut up, Sheena. Pomoci. Top. Donor chooses the... I don't know if that's how you write. Chooses the point current top Anoni 400. Does this make sense? Christian, I got you. I got you. Might be a bit too long. Oh, I didn't. Oh, I don't have Steam. I don't have Mix It Up open. I'm stupid. I'm stupid. Skip. You really like the new glasses there? I don't. Hi, Lucas. Hello. Merry Christmas, Christian. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for the $10. Chat, I need you, as soon as you see a donation, I need you to be extremely exploding. Like, we have to show love for everyone who decided to donate, because, like, even $5 for someone might be so much. And give them for, like, charity, it means so much. So I need you to be, like, exploding. Thank you so much for that. Still don't know what happened. I cannot find them, all right? I cannot find them. I'm struggling to find my fucking glasses. Please, don't. It's already difficult enough, all right? Now you have 3 balls on the tree? I got you. Wait, let me see if I can find... This is overlays. I don't want overlays. I want the chat command, the chat bot. Targets. Detail. Manage. Messages. To you from, no. Activities, no. Oh, connections. No. I cannot send messages in chat. It doesn't send messages, Tiltify. Tiltify doesn't send messages. Shanapal! Shana, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the 2 months. I appreciate you. I appreciate you very much. Welcome in for today. Today we're raising money for a good cause. Thank you so much for that. I really do. I really appreciate you. But let me see if we can... Yeah, I know Chris is there. I know he's waiting for me and I'm making him wait. Sorry, Chris. If you're hearing me, sorry. Okay, this is way too big, but what if we have... Is that how you write? Is there... Chat, JJ, if there is anything wrong, can you please just let me know? Chooses. Oh, you can change it. It's with pomoc. It's with pomoc. It's with the pomo counter thing. Thank you, by the way. Can I also have a thank you to the mods that are helping me always out? Freaking shit, they're... They're supporting this way too much. Okay. Oof, is Chris hearing you? Shut up. Chris, I actually have a question. We will be using a different platform that is called Guest Star. I'm wondering if you get, like, if you can make your thing work also on that, so you can read what I'm saying. By the way, T Christian, I got you with another ball, right? We got another ball for T Christian. T Christian has 2 balls, by the way. T Christian. Who's that? Maria. I love you so much, Maria. Thank you so much for being here. Chat, Maria has been here since always. Always. How are you doing? How is it going? What are you up to? There we go. This is T Christian Ball. Thank you so much for that. Oh. We already have. Let's go. I know. This is crazy. Let me put T Christian here. There we go. Nice. Chris can hear, so that's why it's funny. Yes, I should be able to make it work. I know. Dumbo, I know you Dumbo. Chat, fuck how much I love you for all of this. Fuck how much I love you for, like, supporting so much already this cause. Like, we're already fucking... God! I love you. I really, really do. I really, really do. Shit. As an au pair? Wow! That must be so stressful, Maria. Good job. I'm so proud of you. Chris, I got you. I'm coming. Jake! Wait, 30? 30? What am I supposed to... Oh, Aria for the 20. Aria, yes. 20 is that one. Aria, it's very comprehensible. Jake! Jake, what am I supposed to do? No, perché dici che sono... Perché per il complimento, Lucchetto. Mi metti in imbarazzo, però puoi parlare in italiano. Ari, thank you so much for the 20, Ari. Aria. With a heart. 30 is the ball, is ball and the wooden cookie. It's not like you can sum things. It's not like you sum things. What is this? Wait. Should it be like you sum things? But then if someone donates like 100, they're gonna be like, oh, I want all the balls. Can you imagine? No, I know, Luquito. It's just like in general, I don't like it. Jake, what shall we do with you? Jake. You miss L in my thing. True. No summing. If you sum, you finish prices. That is kind of true. Addie goes here with her wooden thingy. I really like the colors that... I'm sorry, I'm just bragging about my own, style and taste, but I really like this. Jake, what should I do for you? Jake, do you want to raise it to 50? And so then I can give you the squared one? Or do you want to follow down and... my mic crawler is off half of the screen. You're right. Do you want to raise it up? Or do you want to go for the smaller one, smaller price? I'll promise to put your L in it. I'll put a big L. Your job is done. No, Jake, your job is not done. If you want it to be closer, I can put it here. That's the point. I'm scared of like dropping it. There we go. Wait. Listen, if it drops, it's your fault. But it's still like, there's still the microphone covering it. I can put it like super close, but then... Move the microphone closer to me. If I move it closer to me. Oh, wait. But then when I talk to Chris, it's... Wait, Jake is left in... oh my god. Can please someone tag Jake and tell him that we don't know... We haven't done his tag because we don't know where to put it? It looks stable. Okay. I mean, you're gonna see it every single day on stream, so... Happy Thanksmas to you, Matty. Happy Thanksmas. Where do you want your tag? On a small one, or do you want to increase? Anyway, let me know. I'll put the things when we know. Jake went AFK. Oh well, we're gonna decide later, I guess. I'm gonna text him, I guess. But yes, we did the PC. Let me try to see if we can get to have guest start working. We're gonna be trying today, chat, something new, which is called Guest Star. It's a new feature by Twitch. Not everyone has the access to it. We do. And it allows us to bring people on stream without having... Maxwell. Thank you for the 7 months. The glasses. Stop talking about my glasses. Maxwell, thank you so much for that. I appreciate you. You built the PC for Valorant, didn't you? Maybe. Well, the microphone is gonna cover it, by the way. It's gonna cover a little bit. Unless I put the tree over here. Let's do that. Wait. It's still dusty, by the way. I need to clean the cover of the bed. It's your 2 months anniversary? Really, Vinu? Really? Doesn't cover much? There we go. Oh! Vinu! Oh, it is. Vinu, thank you so much. Vinu, thank you so much for the 2 months. It was lovely meeting you. Bet on that. Vinu, thank you so much for the 2 months. I appreciate you. But today, we're raising money for something else. Don't give money to me. Don't do that. No, no, Anonymous, no, wrong place. Anonymous, wrong place. I appreciate you, but the wrong place. No. Maxwell, no. Stop it. No. Primes are okay. But please, no gifted. Don't. No gifted. Please, use the money for charity. Not me. I removed the sub-counter. There is no sub-counter. Shit, Maxwell. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted. I appreciate you. So much. And Sir Alejandrino, thank you for the 5 months with the Prime. You're okay. Okay, it's fine. It was your monthversary. It's fine, I guess. But ignore the train. Fuck, the train is going under there. Wait, can we... What the fuck? Where is it? It's a Christmas train back there. But no, today I'm gonna go crazy. Okay, chat. You know how you can increase the train by donating? It doesn't work like that. I'm sorry, but it's actually no. Guaro, no. I'm being serious. Don't donate. No gifted. Charity. No gifted. Charity. Well, thank you for the gifted one. Charity. Alright? Yes. Charity. What we can do is, like, right now, Anonymous has raised 400, right? I'm gonna sum all the Anonymous together. Whoever they are. And so then maybe there is, like, a crazy one that wants to be on the top on the point. So, like, you with Anonymous can raise by $5 and stuff like that. But anyway. Guaro, thank you for the gifted one. I appreciate you. But what if we choose you instead of charity? I'm not that important. Charity is more important. Charity is way more important. It looks like Chad does not speak English. Crowdfunded star? Yes, it could be a crowdfunded star. Yes, but so then I'm gonna ask whoever is gonna be like the top donator. What do they want? Oh, thank you, Maxwell. Thank you for understanding. Thank you, Maxwell, for the $20 donations. You achieved the name tag. The small name tag. Wait, yes. You achieved the name tag. Thank you, Maxwell, for being here. Thank you for that. How do you donate? If you do exclamation mark thanksmas, you get the link. Couldn't you just forward subs to charity on your own? No, actually, no, Rupert, because first of all, I get a small amount from the subs, and then I also pay taxes on that, so then it will be like, it will be complicated on that, you know? There is a message on the donation. What is the message? Please sing All I Want for Christmas Is You. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. Wait. Thankmas. That's the one. That's the link. Put it on a screen that tells people what each donation can get you. It saves you by having explained it each time. Oh, maybe you're right. Maybe I should do it. I just Max. Maxwell, I got your name tag. Look at it. Can we make requests with the donations? No, only the 50 up. 50 upwards can do that. Wait. Oh. I couldn't find the tree. Okay, here. Oh, there is still the tag. Wait, I'm gonna break everything if I just try to do that. Okay. I got you. There we go. So, let me invite Sangadget. Wait. What is your tag on Sunsound? Sunsound gadget. Okay. Sunsound, I should have sent you like an invite from on Twitch. It should be an invite on Twitch. But thank you for the train chat. I appreciate you. But let's focus on the charity today. I appreciate you for real. In the wrong way, I'll find you. It's fine, Metal. It's fine. Oh, Metal! Metal, good job. Thank you for the 20, Metal. Metal, thank you so much for the 20. I got you. Your pretty tag. Metal Addict. Metal. Got you with the Metal Addict. Metal Addict. Metal Addict. I'll find you. Let me put this one right here. Metal Addict. Okay. Sansan is getting ready. Nan, I should be able to move him. Te baito como un caco? Wait, what? So I appreciate you very much. Someone crazy donated $400. I don't know who that was. It was an anonymous. Will the train fall? What? No. What are these predictions? What are those predictions? Alex, you got 10? I got you. I got you with the ball. Alex, thank you so much for the $10. I appreciate you. You got a smooth ball. No, the lucid ball. Okay. Mod's doing mod stuff. Sansan is getting ready. Chris, let me know if there is any problems. Alex, Got you. Wait for it. Oh, you see yourself. You see from this. Is this a today only thing? Yes, it's a on today only thing. It's a today only thing because it's Thankmas. It's Thankmas. Huh. I should maybe I should have done like a graphic for like the to let you understand what you can get for each thing. To be fair, you are very much right. Maybe while we wait for Chris to join, because he has to like update some stuff. I think that he has to just add some stuff. Oh, he's ready. He is ready. Okay, wait for it. I'm waiting to be guided backstage. I got you. I did fix the... I saw that one. Just right on screen. When you donate, you can see what you get. But maybe it's better like to see it before you just even think about donating. So you have like a little push, you know? I think I got... Don't make that... Why do you want that one to fall? Let me see. Notion. Let me do something real quick. I'm gonna make something super quick on Notion, so I'll show you how fast I can be. Content plan. No, in the stream thing. Here. Top left. I think I can show you. Am I gonna show you something weird? I hope not. But there. Vino! No, it's fine. Vino is so much enough. So much. Wait, wrong thing. It's way more than enough. Thank you so much for that, Vino. I appreciate you very much. Thank you for being here. Wait, I'm gonna give you your own. Let me see if I'm sharing the right one. Nope, wrong one. How do I see? This one should be the display 1. Let's see if this is the right one. Nope. So this is the display 3? Yes. Okay, we got you. Transform. I got you with your ribbon. I'll do it like in a second. Why are you looking so weird? Oh, I need the wait, I need this one down there, top left. Okay, it's covering my face, but that's fine. It's covering my face, but it's okay. No one cares about my face. So this app is called Notion. All right. I got you with your ball. So I'm gonna be going into the. Oh, we didn't put it. Okay, so Thankmas. This is Thankmas. Do you write it with 1 or 2 S, by the way? Thankmas, and I'm gonna write here all the things. I think that makes sense, right? Top donor is Dej. No, it's not. Oh, it's not there. You mean it's fine. I can put it here, and this one goes here. There we go. So here, $10. No, $10 first. $10. White ribbon. Then we have 20. No, this is 5. I'm stupid. 5. This is 10. 10 is the green ball. 20 wood cookie. 50. How is that? How do we call it? Like name tag? It's 5. Yeah, it's 5 for the white ribbon. I got you with the white ribbon. Oh, Statwa! Thank you for the 5. Guaro, thank you for the 5. I got you with those. I got you. Name tag. I'll call it name tag. 100. Red ribbon. Top donor chooses the point. This is okay, right? Wooden cookie chooses the point. Is it like this, right? So I'm gonna snip it and put it as a picture. It might not look the best. Wait, maybe I can put like emotes. Emoji, ribbon, emoji, heart. I want the letter with the heart, that one. Emoji, oh, emoji, cookie, emoji, a green ball, and here instead of that one, emoji, paper. Is there something nice with paper? Yeah, like this. And here we put emoji, a star. Oh, that looks way better. This one looks way better. Look at this. Oh, no. Don't look at that. Wait. I need to do it again because I wrote it in the wrong way. Like this. I'll save it in the downloads. My download folder is way too big. Do I want to? Yes, replace that. F1 card. Yes, it's for a VPN, for NordVPN. Picture, image, and we have Cherokee. And browse, downloads, capture, open. This is enough, all right? This is understandable. This makes it understandable, right? Maybe something that I can do is like, I can put it here. Like that. Like that. Perfect, I would say. Let me put it also in here, which is the place where we also are gonna have Chris joining. What do you mean no? No? You don't like it? Let me just do the ribbons for... Wait, I'm gonna... A bit higher. Why a bit higher, Cami? Oh. Like this? Oh, so like this. This. Okay, perfect. And it also have to go here. Perfect. We got this. So now, did I close the? Oh shit! Did I close the guest star thing? Oh, I did not. I got super scared. I got super scared. Slot guest. Send him to the slot guest. Let's see. I don't know. He's in the backstage. Let's see if we can raise him to the main stage. I'm gonna send you to the main stage. Is that okay, Gadget?
Yep.
Oh,
that's fine.
Chris, not Gadget. Sorry.
Yeah. Either way.
There we go.
Yeah. Either way. Are we live?
Yes, we are.
Live?
Wait, I don't know why they can hear you twice. Try to talk.
Hello. Hello, chat.
Oh, it's not doubled.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I don't know why I could hear you double before. But yeah. Hi. Nice to see you again. Welcome back.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you taking your time to do this.
Oh, really? Of course.
Well, chat,
hello, everybody.
If you don't know Chris already, he has been already here once teaching us sign language. And today he's back again to teach us more. Last time it became more of a shenanigans where we were talking about random stuff like random sounds, like things like that. But today should be more focused on like learning the actual sign language. We're gonna be trying to be focused. Chris, if you don't know Chris already, he is deaf since how many years now?
Since 2019.
2019.
So the end of 2019. So we're coming up on, yeah, just past the 3 year mark of pretty much being above 80% hearing loss. And now I think I'm estimated at being at like
97?
97%.
Oh.
Yeah.
So okay. Chat, something that I really appreciate about Chris is that you can ask them anything. Honestly, like I've never found anyone so like nice to be able to like answer into all the questions. Like we know we all have like when we do we I cannot talk. When we don't know something about a specific word, we have a lot of questions, but we're also very scared of like, you know, not being nice or like asking the wrong thing or like it's always like complicated. And he's super super nice, so you can ask them anything, anything. Tama has been said. Oh, your mom. I've been saying your mom so many times. Your
Mm.
mom, so good. We've
Yeah,
learned
yeah.
about pain last time.
It's very true. Giles said it turns out that G is very flirty in sign language. Yeah. Yeah, without
Yeah.
realizing it.
Apparently, I am scared of like going out. By the way, now. Let
We
me.
did. We learned about pain.
Mm-hmm.
Pain. That was good. Good times.
Yeah. I'm doing the ribbons for the charity. Like me. This is vino. Sorry, I'm gonna be doing this a couple of times. I have to do
Oh
vino.
yeah, I've been watching already as you've been bombarded with all the other ones.
I need to cover my face. Vino, I got you. Let me do also guaro. Why I never find the... Okay, I cannot find the beginning of this ribbon thing. It's gonna be complicated, I guess.
It's been said many times by me to my bad clients, so thank you, Chris.
What? You said someone said it to their clients?
Uncle Guaro said that your mom has been said many times by me to my bad clients without them realizing it. So terrific, terrific.
I got...
Know how to say I love you in sign. I always use it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot how to say I love you. Apart this one. Is this the only way? No, there was also like I love you.
Mm. So you point yourself and then
Oh, that
love.
one. What was this one?
This is love like inanimate objects.
Oh,
Like
right. I
I
love
love coffee.
chocolate. Oh, with this one was chocolate. No, fuck, I forgot so
Mm.
many things. We need to work.
Chocolates on top of the hand like that.
Oh, with a C. Guaro. And
I
we
like
have...
I like coffee. Coffee makes sense because it's like a
Yeah, it's
coffee
great.
grinder,
Yeah.
like an old school coffee
Mhm.
grinder.
Yeah. Okay.
And I do like my coffee. I made myself a pour over this morning.
Ooh.
So
Do you know a lot about coffee?
it's become a hobby over the last few years. It's kind of
Mhm.
meditative for me.
Oh.
Um, it's like when I get up in the morning, I have my rules. My one rule is no electronics or screens for the first hour.
Mhm.
And the second one is, like affirmations and finding my center and my kind of peace, if you will. So making my coffee is part of that.
That is so
It's the
cool.
meditative part. Helps me find my center.
That is so cool. I
And
agree
for
with
me,
the 1 hour
it,
after when you wake up that you should not wait. Sorry, I realized that I should not be looking the other way when talking to you. Sorry, I know that it's very healthy to stay like away from anything that is technological in the first hour when you wake up. That's something that I realized I never do that anymore, but I know that I
yeah.
should. So.
Well, for me, it was kind of a twofold decision. It's healthier, but then also for my mental health, it was best for me not to immediately jump on like social media and stuff like that when you first wake up because it allows you to set your mindset and how your day is going to go for yourself instead of immediately as soon as you wake up seeing everybody else's life that looks so grand and
Mm,
comparing yourself to it, and then immediately you're like, well, I'm just going to have a bad day, and so you set your own kind of tone for the day. So it helped me a lot to wait until I've centered myself and I've decided, hey, it's going to be a good day before I touch anything.
yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I'm trying to look at you
It
when I
was
talk to you.
Yeah, you're fine. It was like some kind of TED talk or something, that I watched, and it was like a successful businessman or whatever, and he talked about like 3 really good habits for successful people that they try to follow and stuff and everything. And it was one of the things that he talked about, and it resonated with me. So I was like, I'm going to try it. And I've been doing it for almost 2 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you're very
Except
committed.
today.
Very committed.
Except
Except
today.
today. Why today
I'm
not?
breaking that rule today.
Oh,
It's
because
7:30 a.m. for
I
me.
just woke up. Oh shit, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine. I've been
You
up
broke
since
the
6.
rule! You broke the rule!
I've been up since 6, but somebody said we were going to start right at 7 my time, and so I was definitely on the computer before 7 to try to be ready. And then lo and behold, 30 minutes later, G's late. Always late.
Did I told you that you look good today? Did you go to the gym? Did you
That's a
go?
nice try.
Did you go
It's
to
a
the
nice
gym?
try. Nice try. I'm not falling for that one.
Sorry.
I love all the comments in chat about the tree's gonna fall.
Yeah.
People are waiting to clip it.
Yeah, I know. They're mean. They're mean to me.
You just got to be careful when don't put all the ornaments on one side and make it really heavy on that side, you know.
Yeah, I got it. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be super fine. Well, how do we start the class today?
How do you say late? Late is down here at your side. My camera doesn't reach that far down, but you're gonna take your hand in this kind of motion, or this hand shape, and you're gonna break it down, like down beside you, so closer to the rib cage. But boom, that's late.
I have one
Sorry.
question.
Yeah.
I have one question. What if you do the same movement but more centered to your body? Does it have a meaning?
More centered. You mean like in front of you? And down? Well, I mean, I think it has a socially understood meaning. In sign language, it doesn't have a specific meaning. If you do it at chest level, either like this or like this, so more out instead of down, then it's later.
Okay.
So you would tell somebody like talk to you later or see you later, things like that. But no, there's a socially like understood one that happens if you do already. You're starting it already. I have a TikTok. I'm not going to tell you what my TikTok is because I'm not doing self-promotion.
You could.
But I do have a TikTok that's going live at 10 a.m. my time, so in like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And it's literally includes, we were playing last night.
Yeah.
Me and my friends were playing games last night, and it includes a clip of them roasting me because they were talking about how I had a date this morning. And of course, me defending myself and telling them it's not a date. She's in Italy. It's extreme, it's charity, it's all this stuff. And they're like, yeah, it's a date. So.
And there's like around 300 plus people watching.
Imagine it's like those old TV shows they used to have, like the blind date shows and stuff.
Oh my god. I so
would be
want to go to
terrible.
one of those. I think that it will be hilarious because I know that I will not be committed because
Like go to watch or go to participate?
participate. I'd have so much
Oh,
fun.
heck no.
I'd have so much fun.
My social anxiety would.
Oh, chat wants a TikTok link, by the
Shut
way.
down.
Chat wants a TikTok link.
That's wonderful.
Then give it to
Actually,
us. Okay?
Hold on, let me bring up G's TikTok and I'll just.
No,
link
no,
hers.
no. Give us your TikTok. We want to see that. We wanna
It's brand
see
new.
it.
We just started it like 4 days ago. It's just a
Okay.
side project that me and
But
my
that's the
friends are
point.
doing.
It's better. Like if you have a lot of like interactions at the very beginning, it's gonna go very better, like way better.
All right.
Marketing
Grab it.
right here. There's chat asking for TikTok.
Oh my goodness.
Mm.
Y'all can see the TikTok that goes live later where they're making fun of me because I get to talk to G.
Nice. By the way, chat, later today we will be learning with Chris some signs. If you want, after every I was thinking every 20 minutes we can have one of you coming up on stream. You just have to do the request. I don't know how you do the request, but you can do the request somehow. I don't know. And you can show. Oh, maybe something that we can do is gonna be like Chris gives the both of us like a sign or like something, either something to sign or he
Hmm.
signs something and we have to say what we said, that what was it, and we decide who wins between you and I. Would that be okay, Professor Chris?
Absolutely.
Nice.
Things like that make it very interesting and make it easier for people to learn. I sent you in Discord the link
Send
for
it in. Because there's
I can't
the
it
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
back
no.
because I'm backstage or whatever or front stage. It won't let me chat. I can read chat, but I can't type in chat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
That's weird.
plus, Jao might ban me again. So I'm just kidding. I want you to know I'm going to give him a hard time every time.
It's fine. It's fine. It's very much fine. I approve.
When she said I request Arya, and immediately Arya said nope.
I request Arya. No, yeah, no. Arya is gonna for sure join us and help us.
Yeah, you don't get a choice, Arya. I want you to know that is my daughter's name. Is
Arya?
Arya.
Oh, that's a very beautiful name. I have to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
I
love
hope
the
she
meaning of
doesn't
it.
grow up to be as toxic as Arya, the mod. But
Sure, sure.
sure, sure.
Yeah, I'm working on it. She's turning out all right so far.
Yep. Okay. Nice. 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 She's getting mad.
Uh-oh. Hey, no
Oh,
spam in the chat, Arya.
no
No spam.
spamming.
Mods, Jay, do something about that. Time her out, please.
Yeah.
Could you
Yeah.
imagine?
Yeah.
That would be hilarious.
I have a friend that had like as a channel rewards like time out a mod, but I'm
Okay.
not gonna do that. I'm not gonna give
That's
chat that power.
that's genius. You
I,
should
I
totally
cannot
do it.
I cannot have my mods away. Like I'm useless.
Is Jay here? Jalford?
Yeah.
Are you here? Am I safe to post this link or are you gonna get mad at me if I do?
He's gonna get mad. He's gonna get mad.
Okay. Well, I'm
Always.
gonna post it.
Wait,
I'm gonna
wait,
post
wait.
it. Let's see what happens. Nope. Bam. Got timed out immediately.
What is that? I told you wait. We had to permit you first.
There it goes. I am now
I
permitted.
have it. What is that? Is that the TikTok?
Bam. There you go.
Is that a TikTok?
Yeah. It's not a TikTok. That's the channel. That's the
Oh,
TikTok.
that channel. Okay. Gotcha.
The
Bob
channel.
Lafro, hello. Anyway.
Where is Chris from? Chris is from the state of Tennessee in the United States of America. Good old America.
Can I ask you something for like...
Absolutely. And the answer is, of course, we are the back-to-back World War champs. Anyway, go on.
I was going to ask something completely different.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to ask you if you could like point the camera a bit lower so like we don't have like your head way too down. It's from like a aesthetic point of view. Or like if you're naked under, first of all, we don't want to know.
You need
Second
me
of
to
all, you
back
can
up?
keep
Is that
it
what you're
like
saying?
what?
You need me to back up?
No. I need if you could lower your camera so we see.
Maybe. I don't want you to see like my dogs and stuff running around in the background.
That will be a lot of content.
Is that better? Hold on.
Yes. Way better. Way better. Yes.
Way better?
Yeah, because
Okay.
you were
And
like,
yes, Jalford, I realized that you didn't ban me originally. The chat auto zaps me. I just give you a hard time about it because I love you so much.
good point. Very good point. So, Professor, what are we learning today? What is the how are we organizing the day of the class today?
Yeah, so I figured we'd have a little bit of organization. So we'd go over some basics, some introductory stuff. We went over a little bit. So we'll do a refresher on the ones that we already kind of went over, but also showing it again because some people may not have been here
Yeah, I agree.
the first go around. And then I figured after we get a few of the basics out of the way, we'll talk and learn about a couple of things that we actually relate to or want to know about. You know, like for me, like coffee's a big one. I like coffee. So knowing the sign for coffee was like huge
Okay.
for me. I needed to know what it was. And like turtle because it's so fun. So I figured we'd do a few basics, then we'll go into like things that people actually relate to or, you know, questions from the chat, kind of like last time where it's like, how do I say this or that? The one thing I will say, preface to chat, is don't ask me how to say full sentences yet. I hate to break it to you, but you're not going to be that proficient yet unless you've studied it before to be able to just pick up an entire sentence on the fly like that, because there's grammatical issues with it and things of that nature. Um, we'll get there eventually, hopefully. If I keep coming back, if I keep giving Gia a hard time, she's never going to invite me back. So best behavior chat and me, especially me. I can't be a meanie. Um, don't want to be a, you know,
A what?
huh?
A what?
Oh, you don't remember that one? Okay,
I
cool.
don't-
Good. That's good. Forget that one. Forget it. No, no.
The one that I remember the most is like learning and teaching. I loved it.
Mhm.
I
And a
loved
learning
it.
person is a student. And
Oh,
a
and a
teaching
learning person and it's the yeah.
And a preaching person is a preacher.
That's so nice. Okay.
It's another one of my ones that I use a
Preach.
lot is preach.
Preach.
But I do it like sarcastically, you know? Like when someone's like, we shouldn't have to pay this much. I'm like, preach.
Preach. Yeah.
Um,
Oh, learning. I know some guy who would be happy today. Yeah, I'm with you. I know that guy too. Yes.
I don't. All right.
It's a inner joke. Sorry about that. It's just someone that
Oh,
came in chat and was like, "We are not learning in this channel. Why aren't we learning?" I was like, "I don't know."
We'll invite them in. They can learn a thing or two, like
Yeah.
how not to be a jerk.
Oh
Anyway,
yes.
I said it, not you. So you're safe.
Nice.
Not data science. True. But yeah, so what I was saying was don't ask for full sentences yet, because sign language is a language, even though it's not verbal, it is still communication, and therefore it has rules and grammar and things of that nature. So I'm very happy to teach you basics in words and start developing the grammar knowledge, and then eventually, fairly quickly, you'll be able to start picking up sentences, I'm sure. It took me about 6 or 8 months to get to a point where I could have a conversation, like full on have a conversation and not have to worry about it too much. So it's pretty fast. I don't think I could learn Italian that fast. That's for sure. Especially not now because can't hear the pronunciation. So it would be terrible. But I'd be like, never mind. I was gonna make a movie reference, but I don't know if people have seen the movie, so then it would just fall flat.
What is the movie?
The Inglourious Bastards
I've seen it, but I don't remember.
with Brad Pitt when they pretend to be Italian filmmakers, and he's like arrivederci. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. That would be me. So
Okay.
everyone should have seen it. See, that's what I thought, but you never know.
Buongiorno.
Quentin Tarantino. I feel like everybody should have seen it. Anyway, so we'll start off with the review part. If you want to go ahead and get going.
I'm reviewing. So like, yours, mine.
Right. Open hand shows possession.
Open hands shows possession, but then it's you and me. Like
Right.
I. Sorry, not me, but I. Well, me also.
And he and she and
they, like all of them. If I do
so you
this,
just point to whoever you're talking
like if
about.
I point like to a group, can I just go like with the round circle, like say like them?
You just go across.
Oh, I go across. I don't go like them. I go like.
That is like they or them. Yeah.
Okay. Then we learn mom, dad.
Yep.
Then we have teacher. Teach.
Yeah. Teacher.
Oh yeah, teach, and then
Yeah, because
teacher.
it's a teach person.
Then learner. So it's like student.
Student. Yeah.
Then we learned a soda.
Yeah. Pop soda.
Soda. We learned pain.
Pain. Yeah. Well,
Pain.
the traditional way is with the thumbs down,
Oh, okay.
and then you would do it over like a location like head pain or a headache.
And just
But it's the same thing with thumbs up. It's just preferred East Coast, West Coast. It's just
then
different accents.
Stop smiling when you do soda. Shut up. let me.
Because she's
have my
thinking
fun.
of poop.
No, it's because of this one.
Well, yeah, that's it.
Anyway.
I see that's something I learned quite a few gestures in Italian that
Oh,
me question whether
later
or
I
not
wanna.
I want to do smoothie.
Okay, genius, genius. So I like the soda. What I was thinking is, okay, we do this every. Like now we have 15 more minutes of like doing this, and then later we're gonna call someone in, and they're gonna show us what they can do. But then at the end, I have a video of Italians having conversations, and you can only see their hands. And I wanna
Lord.
know if you can get what they're saying, and if I can get what they're saying.
Okay.
So it's gonna be like Italians versus deaf.
The great battle begins.
So then we learned
A
my.
war as old as time.
Then we have my name,
Yeah.
Giulia.
You. Yep. Hmm.
I sign. No, I learn sign language. How did
Good.
you do but? But? Oh, but? Okay, but. Sign slow.
Sign slow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
What else do we remember, chat? What else do we know? I didn't remember that.
You remember that one? It's like you're walking through people.
Oh,
What do you
excuse
say?
me. Excuse me.
Excuse me. That's
Excuse
right.
me. Oh, excuse me. Can no
Close. Other way.
can
Start on the outside and come in.
okay. So excuse me. Can I help you? Right?
Very good.
Nice.
Very good. Yeah.
I want to do this one faster. Like, so excuse me, can I help you?
Yep.
Okay. Chad, what else did we learn? What else did we? This one I didn't remember. But what else do we have?
You got to remember that one because you do that a lot.
I say but many times. It should be like.
Yeah.
This would be way more. But like. Sometimes I like to
You're getting the claps. Getting claps.
Oh, okay, thank you. Like I do this so much that sometimes when I have to type someone and I have to say but, I just put the hand like this. I just put the hand and it means but for me.
Well, I do the same thing with the emojis and stuff. They have emojis that are different hand shapes, and they're not meant to be sign language, but I use them like sign
Really?
language when I'm talking to my friends. So they have like the okay one, but to me that's preach.
Oh, so you put preach.
So when someone's like
Oh.
texting me and they're venting or whatever, I'll put like 2 or 3 of them in there, and it's like preach.
With
And
two
then of course they do have the I love you, like the universal I love
yeah,
you sign.
that one, yeah.
They have one that's like this.
Oh yeah. Like
So
yellow.
it depends on the context. I'll send it to them like, hey, like call me, or like,
Yellow.
yeah, like that's cool, that's
Yeah.
dope, whatever the kids say nowadays.
We don't say dope for sure.
Well, I do, because it's dope.
Yes. What else do we
As
Chad,
a
what else did
pamphlet.
we learn last time? What else was it?
You got a lot of the basics from last time. You still remember?
Yeah. Oh, did we learn how to say? We learned how to say dumb. We learned how to say dumb.
Dumb, yeah. Kind of like dumb, like Dumbo, like jokingly.
Dumbo. How was it? I don't remember. Oh, dumb. Right.
Dumb, hard-headed.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing. It's
Okay.
almost can be like a slang for a couple things, but yeah.
Hold on a second. There's my dad doing signs to me that I'm not understanding. What? Le chiavi della macchina? My dad was asking me. He was like looking at me and going like this. I was trying to understand what was like the sign language. Oh, Jacopo, thank you for the 100 beanies. Like, sorry, just car keys missing.
I was gonna say, to me that's car keys.
Really?
Looking for car keys or house keys. Yeah.
Oh, just keys in general. All right, all right.
Yeah, just like keys in general.
So he knows sign language. Did you
There
see?
you go.
Italians and deaf people, they go together. There's the point right there.
When they're not waging war. obviously, like we've already discussed since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
Car keys into the PCT. See, even chat got it. They're all going car keys. It's car keys. Everyone knew but you, G.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Oh, Shabham, thank you for the 15 months. I appreciate you, Shab. Thank you for that. Welcome back. Oh, Jacopo.
The Godfather.
Jacopo, stop with the beaties. Don't give beaties to me. Go charity. Appreciate you, but go charity. No, today we don't accept any new subs. Only primaries. That's it, because they're for free. And no beaties. The shop is closed. The only shop open is the donating shop down here. Yes. Thank you for the 100 beaties, but no.
Which is funny because she's saying down here, like, do the charity, but in sign language, that's 1,000. So she's saying 100's not good enough. You gotta do 1,000.
1,000, yes. To charity.
Again.
To charity. Wait, what? Again?
Mm-hmm. So flat hand, and then you bring it over. So
Okay.
that's again.
Does it change like the side where you do things or not?
No, it's like we talked about last time. It's just whatever your dominant hand is just the one that you'll do the primary signing with. So if there's something that works off of a platform or a base or something, you know, then your non-dominant hand is the base, and your dominant hand does the actual motion.
Okay.
It can be right-handed, left-handed, doesn't matter.
Okay. So we know the sign for keys. What is the sign for car and which one is for house? So like we can do the house keys.
If you had to
the
guess,
car keys.
if you had to guess,
Really? Like house keys?
so like car is like you're holding the steering wheel. You can turn it like you're turning if you want, but it's like car. And then like push it forward is like drive.
Okay. So like
You know what
let's
I mean?
right there.
Then, yeah, house is literally just you just draw the shape of a house.
So
like
like
the roof
house
and the
keys and car keys. I get so confused. Car keys.
And then there's a gap like in the middle, and you turn it, or you can do it with a curved finger like that, and that's start.
Oh, so like start the car. Like
And
we
start,
have to go
reading.
start the car.
Yeah, you could say start reading.
Oh.
Start, exercising. It's start. That's just start. But it's like a key turning,
Oh, that's so cool. So like that's really so. Like, how do you say focus? Start focusing.
Yep. There you go.
I'm gonna be talking to chat. I'm gonna be like,
see, and you can do if you learn enough.
what does this mean? Does this mean something in sign language?
Yeah, like I'm gonna smack you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but it's in a mean way, like.
Yeah. Get the old knife hand out, sharpened.
The back side of the hand.
Yeah. But see, if you remember enough of this and your chat remembers enough of this, then when you do your study time and you have your mic off,
I'm gonna
and
be
they're
like
acting up in the chat, you can be like, yeah, give them the old threat,
Yeah.
Nothing communicates better than a good threat.
So why'd you say working?
You don't remember that one? We went over that one. It was one I said I didn't want to do anymore.
Oh, okay.
We don't do that. We don't do that anymore.
I start working. Posso vedere le Jacopo, yes. You have these balls. That's how you see them. Because I made a tweet saying, come live and I'll show you, like donate and I'll show you my balls. These are my balls.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's perfect.
But if you donate 10, I'll give you a ball with your name. Anyway. So I'm gonna be looking at Chad and be like,
Start reading is insane.
that's so good. That's so not good.
So this is like eyes to like paper. That's reading.
Okay.
Or you can just do the paper if you want like that with two fingers like eyes. Or you can do it the more formal way. But yeah.
Oh,
so
Jacopo, that was
like any
you.
other language that develops slang or develops like a shorthand way of talking, if you will. Sign language works the same way. So the formal sign is to go like this, but people in conversation, for the sake of speed, they'll just go like that. they'll just shorten it or things like that. So it's when you meet people that are really fluent, it's really crazy to see how quickly they sign.
Yeah, like could you do like a 1 minute conversation now so we can see like what does it mean when you're saying something fast? Like I don't know, like say something from who are you, where are you from, and all of that. Give me just 1 second before doing that. I just need to fix something, a command from chat because I saw a lot of people say thanks mas, so I want to make the command available also if you say thanks mas.
Oh, instead of thank mas.
No, instead of thank mas.
A pro streamer move? What was a pro streamer? Oh, the show you my balls thing?
So, yeah, I think that's that one. So actually, pop and work are really similar. Like, yeah, like one is like, oh wait, and what work is like that.
Yeah. So work is like the same kind of motion as like hitting something with a hammer or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then pop is because you have the bottle and it makes that noise when you open it. Used to, like the glass bottles, when you would open them, it would make that noise. Where it gets its name, soda pop, because it would pop. So
Chad, I made thanks mas and TM for the donation. So if you want to help out people understanding how to donate, it's also TM, which is faster, I guess. Okay, can we see a conversation?
Well, it's hard to do a conversation with just one side of the conversation, but what I can do is
introduce yourself, like.
Yeah, I could just kind of go through an introduction.
Let's see if we can get what you said.
Oh, so you don't want me to say?
No. I want to see.
That's gonna be really. Okay, I can do it. Yeah. Generally speaking, I speak or at least mouth what I'm signing at the same time.
Because okay.
Most people that sign.
Wait, I can mute you. I can mute you if you want.
So, it's fine. I got it.
Okay.
But yeah, most people that sign do some form of lip reading and stuff too, and then of course the emotions that come across when you're talking. Mm-hmm. You can display those emotions better if you're trying to speak or make some sort of mouth motions. Mouth motions. Mm-hmm. Don't hold that one against me. Yeah, when you're doing. Okay, so I'll just go through like an introduction then, real quick. So, well, not real quick, but sort of quick. So I would say like.
I understood only, hi, I'm Chris. And then you drive a car.
Let's start out by saying, hi, my name's Chris. I'm trying to remember what I said because I came up with it off the top of my head. So I said, hi, my name's Chris. I'm from Tennessee, so TN. And then I said, I like playing games. I don't like driving.
You don't like driving?
Going out around people.
Oh.
Thank you for having me here.
Fabri, how did you get thank you for having me? How did you get that one, Fabri? How did you get those? Chad?
Yeah, so thanks to get me here. That's very close, Metal Addict. And yeah, he said thank you for having me. Yeah. That's so basically because they don't translate exactly one for one for English. So more accurately, what I said was thank you, me here. Now day. So, but it translates to thank you for having me here today. Yeah. Because there's no direct translation. But yes, that's awesome that a lot of them.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Or remember, because obviously we went over thank you last time, and then here, and we went over like today.
Oh,
versus tonight, and this morning. Things like that. Because we talked about morning. It's on the forearm.
Yeah.
It's on the forearm.
Wait, Anton, thank you. Anton Luca, thank you so much for the $10. I appreciate you. I got your ball. Let me write on it. And why are you laughing?
Nothing. I had to clear my throat.
Okay. There we go.
So there's no sign. Christian. There's no sign for from, so it's all in context. So you would point to yourself and say, I'm, and then like where. So I'm where? Tennessee, or wherever you might be. There's a sign for like, America or different things like that. So you would say, I'm where? And you would raise your eyebrows like it's a question mark, and then you would answer your own question. So I'm where? America or whatever. So I said, I'm where? Tennessee.
Why big
That
L
makes sense?
for Luca? Big L for Luca. Big that's what. No, yeah, okay.
That looks like big L for Jew or for G there.
Shut up.
You really dropped the ball there. Oh my God, the puns! There's so many dad jokes are available today. I love it. Love it.
It makes.
Are the sign languages different? Aren't them?
Oh, since
Yeah.
Whips has deaf parents, so do you see any differences since from Portuguese Sign Language and American Sign Language?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
I don't know where my water is. I don't know where my water
Can
is.
you say something to make fun of G? Thank you. I mean, I can add to the things we've said to make fun of G, because G's always late. Dumbo. There was another one I said last time. I don't remember what it was.
It's fine. No, you don't have to remember. It's
We'll just wait till G goes full penguin again.
Good.
Then...
This is mad. You can say how small she. I'm not small. Oh, can you say G is a Valorant? Yeah, that's a lot Valorant. Like
you can say how small she is.
G went full penguin. There's actually
So it
a
would be
command.
like G's small, so you would like lower like this, or you would.
And this is tall. So this is tall.
Yeah, so this would be like tall. This would be like
G
short.
tall.
This could
G
be like
tall.
small, versus like big, big. So.
I'm not donating 10 because my balls cannot be touched. That's fine.
Always late. Yeah. So like we went over that late, but if you wanted to say always, it'd be like always late. Always late.
All right.
So the reason I know that one is because it's like always and forever.
Oh, video games was like this, right? I don't remember. Like this. Okay. Wait a second. Can I? I'm gonna leave you with chat for a second. I'm gonna get myself water. That I don't know where I put it. I thought that I had it, but I don't. Apparently, I don't. I'll be right back.
Okay, I will answer questions with chat then.
In the meantime, chat. If any of you,
that's a command now. I love that penguin is a command.
Yeah, I love it too. Thank you, chat. If any of you wants to join in on stream and say something that they've learned with sign language and they wanna ask Chris if it's correct, you can do requests. Get started. Let me see how. All Twitch users in my channel. Oh, I will put only followers, so like we're coolio that they're not crazy ones.
Aria said she'd like to join. That's what
she said. It.
Yeah, that's what Ash said.
Okay.
And then Aria deleted it. Oh, but I caught it. I saw it in time. You can
join the request chat. You can join, and then I will be bringing you up on stream. By the way, I'm not scared of bringing you up. Because Twitch is gonna ban you if you do something shit. It's like it's not gonna be my fault. I'm not gonna get banned for it. So I'm.
Like your account will be removed from Twitch?
No, not mine. Their account.
Theirs.
Their account. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Good. It's not my fault then. Wait, I'm gonna get water. I'll be right back.
Yep. So don't be coming up with like your feet showing and stuff. We don't like that. That was great. Okay. All right. Hold on. I saw one. How was? Geez, so many messages are getting deleted. Hold on. How's Christmas prep going? It's going good. I'm getting set up. I got my tree up. I got some lights up. Not doing a whole lot this year. It's, as I'm sure everybody knows, the cost of living is kind of ridiculous. At least here it is. So can't do a whole lot this year. It's way too expensive. Dink Donk requests are on. But we can read in any case. Now you see it, now you don't. Good policy. I'm glad about it. Thank you, Twitch. Blah, blah, blah. She reads deleted messages more than normal messages. How do you say Christmas? Yeah, so Christmas is like the ground, and then think of like a tree, but you're doing a C on top, and you're gonna rotate it. It's Christmas. So it's like the lights, kind of looks like a lighthouse. I don't know. It's like a Christmas tree. Think of it like a Christmas tree. Bam. So that's Christmas. That's how you say Christmas. Merry Christmas. True. So before we said, "Can I help you?" How was the sign for how? Like, how can I help you? Or like, how are you doing? Yeah. So how was the one where you started with your palms out, hands in a curved formation, and you rotated your dominant hands. That's how. That's she comes back with food actively in her mouth. Mary Chrysler. I'm glad somebody got that. Oh my goodness, thank you so much.
Merry Chrysler. Merry Christmas.
Merry Chrysler.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Happy Christmas.
Merry Christmas. All right.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Yes,
more
I got water and cookies, chat. So, how do you say water?
Water is like this, like the W, and then on the chin below the mouth, that's water.
And drink? Mm-hmm. You're right. I should not be talking with my mouth full to you, because I don't think that. Sorry.
It's a little hard to.
Yeah. So, how do you say drink? Do you say drink like this?
Drink is so like you're holding a cup,
Okay.
and then you turn
So,
it
like-
up at the mouth.
So if I want to tell you drink water.
Yeah, so
drink
you would say
water?
drink water.
Drink water. It's not rude to chat. Chat doesn't care.
Then someone said, then how to say lighthouse. So I said, because Christmas tree is kind of like a lighthouse. It's like the tree, Christmas tree, so Christmas. Lighthouse is like, this is light. So then a light coming from a lighthouse. So you would open your hand like this, and it would just be, there's no platform. It would just be your hand. You can go like, that's the lighthouse or beacon. So you would go like that. So like it's shining light across. So instead of a C, you would do the light coming out. That's lighthouse.
Okay. Oh, how did you get to lighthouse while I was away?
Because somebody asked how to say Christmas, and I said ground, tree, sea on top, and it kind of has the motion like a lighthouse. Because that's the idea, is it's like a Christmas tree has the lights on it. And so I said I said the word lighthouse, and somebody asked, so how do you say lighthouse? So, and then someone else said, how do you say cookie? So cookies like a cookie sheet, and a C again, cookies, and you're just gonna rotate it. Cookies. So it's like a cookie cutter. Bam, bam. You're cutting out the cookie.
I love that you have like things to remember stuff. Like you have excuse me, and like excuse me is like walking through the crowd. So that's really lovely.
Some of those are inherent and they're part of it. Some of them I make up because I had to learn sign language myself. And so as someone who spoke for 31 years, I had to relate it my own way to be able to help me remember it. So that's why I say it, just because it might help other people remember it too.
Chad, if you're wondering why do we have so many viewers right now, it's a bit out of like usual. Because we are on the front page, because we're using Guest Star to try things out. That's why. Don't get panicked. Don't go crazy. Oh my god, it's crazy. We're okay. We still have the request on. I think I don't know. I'm also gonna. Yeah, someone is requesting, and I'm inviting them to prepare their cams on. But I also wanted to invite some specific ones to join us that I saw in chat. For example.
Okay.
Whoa.
I think the most difficult part to do a conversation are the verbs. Can you do some examples like do, can, should? Yeah. So broken down again, because it's not a one-for-one translation or interpretation from English to sign language or from sign language to English. In my case with ASL, so do has a sign, can has a sign, but should falls into a sign that covers a couple different variations, which is happen. So like this is can with closed fists, that's can. This is happen. So it's like should happen. It's used in context of a sentence. So it's like what happened,
Mm-hmm.
or it could be like, that's not what should have happened, so it's not what should have happened.
Mm-hmm.
So it covers, or that's not what you should be doing. And then doing or do, again, based on context, is you make D's, and then you're basically just going D-O, D-O. So that's like, what are you doing? Or I got stuff to do. So you just kind of do D-O, D-O like that.
Mm-hmm.
So the like verbs, adverbs, that kind of stuff, there's only a few or certain ones that actually have signs. Most of what we would call filler words in English are implied in sign language. There's no direct signs for them. They're used based on context.
Okay.
Can you raise Chris's volume, please?
I should have like already. Tell me if I'm alright.
Okay.
Tell me if it's okay. By the way, how do I end the request?
Crunching cookies. Oh, you're talking about my captions are saying crunching cookies because she's eating cookies into the mic. No, it just comes up rude. That's it. No, that's all. I'm just. She didn't even react to that one. She's focused.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just like trying to like get this thing with the guest. Like, I'm trying to make it like so people can actually request to join.
Mm-hmm. Only the more common verbs have a more direct translation, ? Yeah, in some cases. So again, it comes down for like the verbs, adverbs, things like that. It comes down to which ones they can categorize.
Wait, did you flame my rudeness?
Yeah.
And I was not even listening. Sorry.
Yeah, you couldn't even defend yourself. Yeah, Rua said Chris's translator equals crunching cookies. Like my captions was saying that you were crunching cookies. And I said, no, it just comes up rude.
I'm sorry.
Comes up and says rude. That's
rude?
It. Yeah, it just comes up and says rude.
I thought that this was the sign for rude.
Oh no, the sign for rude is I know this. Hold on, you just caught me off guard. I just used it the other day. Oh my goodness. No, not that. That's annoying.
Oh.
It's kind of like excuse me, but it's the opposite. So it's with just like the middle finger, and you come off the palm, and it's like a short, quick motion. Rude.
Okay.
Is that another sign that's bad? Oh my gosh. Look, even Arya said, "Oh no." Oh man. Rude is one of like the good ones. That's because you can do that one in public too.
I love that Arya gets me every time. And like in 1 second, she's just like, before even I do any face, she's like, "Oh no."
At the same time, yeah. She basically said that.
We actually have one person that wants to join. No. Let me put it in slot guest 2. They should get every. Oh, you see them.
Guaro.
Yeah, that's Guaro. Let's wait for him to get everything set. Why is he laughing already? Wait, chat. I'm gonna switch. Let's see if I'm.
I will say that it was a bit of a process to get in to the back room.
Yeah.
To get waited, I had to verify my phone number and then log into my Twitch and receive a token on my phone that I had to type in the match, to verify to get in. It was like a whole thing.
Why is he saying your mom?
Look at him. Look. Oh my goodness.
He said, hold on, water.
Did you see him?
Wait, I did. No, Chad did not see him. That's Guaro. Welcome in. Hi. You're on stream.
I forgot I could see you, and chat couldn't yet, but you did. You said, "Hold on, water," didn't you?
Yep.
You did it.
Hi, Guaro. How are you doing?
Okay.
Do you hear me all right?
Yep.
Okay.
I hear the trouble. Sorry.
Okay. What did you want to show Chris?
Oh, I actually wanted to ask.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, how do you say? I mean, I cannot. Okay, right?
Cannot.
Oh, cannot.
Cannot.
Negative.
No. Wait.
Okay.
So I can is like this. I cannot. You drop it.
Yeah.
Cannot.
Okay.
Okay. How do you say like? I cannot see or something like that.
Oh, see.
Yeah. So See is with like what you would think of like this. So this is look if you come from both eyes. See is coming from like one eye.
Okay, so
See?
I cannot.
I
So
cannot see.
it'd be like I cannot see.
Okay.
How can you see? How can you say I cannot see well, which is not like I cannot see. It's like I cannot see very well.
Yeah, so like we all wear glasses, as you can see. So it would be like you wouldn't even have to say me, because in context you're automatically referring to yourself unless you distinguish that you're talking about someone else.
Okay.
Okay.
So as you get a little less formal, you stop pointing to yourself and you would just say cannot see well or good.
Oh,
well or good.
well. Okay, so cannot see.
So cannot, and you don't even have to like turn it so much. You're kind of just letting it go.
Oh,
So
like
cannot
cannot
see
see.
well.
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 And it's actually not up here. It's more you're supposed to come down,
Oh.
but because of my camera angle, I'm holding it up.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
That's what I was
Okay,
saying. Like
yeah,
if
you
you
feel
want
like-
to like,
Cannot see
Okay.
well.
so
Cannot see.
cannot see.
And then it's
well.
like, oh, put my glasses on, right? Now I see better.
better.
See,
See
See
better.
better.
Okay.
Oh, like for
So,
example,
Cannot see well,
Okay.
but my glasses
My glasses. I
see better.
Better.
oh, so like for example,
Okay.
if you're in class and you cannot see the whiteboard, you can be like, excuse me, like to the
Yeah.
teacher, excuse me, cannot see
See.
well, and then she fixes something, and you go like, see better,
See better.
see better,
Okay.
see,
And then,
see better.
and then she changes the focus a little bit, and you're like, oh, that's the best.
That's the best. Oh, that
So
That-
this is better.
What?
better,
Better.
best. You
Best.
go
You
higher.
exaggerate it. To
Okay.
do best, it's like
Okay.
best.
Okay.
Exaggerate.
How do you
Yeah,
say
so better
that?
and best.
I missed the. How do you say that? That's the best.
That
So that
is
is
like
you
this.
point
Okay.
you point at something with the Y hand shape. So it's that
That.
that you can point at it like this. Like
And this
that.
is this.
But if you're doing pointing with one finger,
Okay.
you are referring to a specific object.
Okay.
So like for me, if I'm talking about my coffee cup or the coffee itself, I would say that.
coffee
the
is the best.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's the best. But if you do it like this, like you're pointing like this, it's using that
Like-
in reference
like-
to
Like that
Anything that it could
coffee.
be.
Like that coffee.
or like saying like that sucks. Like obviously that coffee
Oh.
doesn't suck.
Okay.
Suck.
Suck.
Suck. Oh, you
Suck.
point at the.
And you do like an inhale. So it's
Okay.
like that sucks. So that
That's okay.
Yeah. So this is that in that context of saying like that referring to a more broad. If you're referring to something specific, you would point at it.
Okay. Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Glad-
Guaro.
glad
I
to
hope
know.
he answered to your questions.
I am so proud to see
Huh?
you guys really learning.
Thank you. How do you wait?
Makes me happy.
I'm happy to. How do you say to? I mean,
So like two as in like in solidarity with someone,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
OO, is you would point to them and you like this with the Y hand shape back and forth.
okay.
It also works if you are talking in a similes within a sentence, like this and that are the same. You
Okay.
would turn it sideways and go like that. So it's
Okay.
like if I said like, oh, I
Mats,
have
can you
to
help
go
me out
to
with
the store,
the
and then G was like, oh, you
with
mean
the
the market?
tags?
I'd
Can
be
you
like,
please add
same
sign
thing.
language as a tag
The store
and
and
remove
market,
PC
same thing.
build?
You know what I mean?
I
So
don't know
go
if you can
sideways
change
with it.
that.
Yeah,
So
you go sideways.
like, similar when you're talking about two other objects. So
Okay.
if somebody says like, oh, I'm really tired, you could be like same,
Mm.
meaning it's the same thing. Yeah.
For real?
Got it.
You could say I'm happy
When
to.
change, thank you, JJ. Thank you.
Okay. Perfect. So I'm happy to.
And I did another one in there that people may not realize, but really is like from the chin forward, and it
Okay.
gets very specific, but really, and you can kind of over exaggerate it because that's really. This
So
is like
if you are questioning something, oh really? You
Yep.
do it like this. Okay.
really. And it's like, if it's a question, like the emotion's there. Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Because this is just like speak. If you just come straight out from like below the mouth, speak.
Mhm.
This is really, and then this is like
Sorry,
promise.
I sorry to interrupt you. I have to flame a troll. Tuma.
Yeah, go for it.
Sorry. There we go.
See. Wow.
Sorry, I needed to flame. Yes, never mind. Kami doesn't know Munnets.
The
Kami
best
doesn't
part,
know Munnets.
the best is tua mamma.
Tua mama. No, tua mama. Yeah. Tua mama. Okay.
Tua.
Your mom.
Your mom.
Yep. It's
And-
useful in almost any situation. So.
Yep. Yep.
Thank you, Guado, for your questions. Do you have anything else you wanted to ask? You can still come back later if you want. Oh.
Is it similar to thank you for having me?
Saying what?
Thank you for your patience or similar. Is it
Yeah,
something similar to thank you for having me?
So it would be start out the same way. Let me just double check something real quick. I don't want to tell you wrong, 100% wrong.
Look at the proud face of Guado.
I'm learning.
You're doing great. You're doing very good.
Yeah.
It's just
it's
luck.
awesome. So it would be like, thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
And then patience is like the A hand shape, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But you're going to turn it up so that your thumb's going up, and you're going to come down like this. That's
So-
patience.
Oh, this is
Thank
patient.
you.
Patience.
For-
I had to make sure that it was what I was thinking, that it was different, because this is patience, and then in English there's patient, which is like a person that's seeing a doctor or whatever. That's the patient.
Okay. Yeah.
They're totally different,
Okay.
completely different. So in my head I went to the patient one instead of patience. So I had to double check to make sure. But yeah, so so like
Okay.
thank you
Thank you for our patience.
for
For
is like from here, like from your cheek.
okay.
For
For
For patient.
sorry.
patience.
Patience.
And you can, if you want to be more formal, you can say for your patience, but it's
Okay.
implied. Again, you're talking
For
to me, so
patience.
yeah, so it's implied. So you don't have to if you shorthand it. You can say just thank you for patience.
Okay. Okay.
So
Glad
yeah.
to be
So
here.
in closing, it is nice to
Nice.
meet you.
You.
It was very nice to meet you.
Oh.
No, wait.
It is complicated, huh? It is complicated.
Yeah, it is.
It's
It
a
is.
lot. It takes a lot of practice. I get things mixed up too all the time. The
Mm.
biggest thing, like I said last time I was here, that I can give all of you guys in chat and everything is practice, 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 and do it with someone. Video calls, whatever. You can never practice too much.
True. True. It helps.
It's like Bruce Lee said, you got to take it one step at a time, and fear not the man who practices 1,000 kicks. Fear the man who practices one kick 1,000 times.
1,000 times.
And sign language is like that. You have to practice the sign 1,000 times before it becomes muscle memory. I mean, it takes a while, because you may think, thank you, thank you, thank you. Great. But then when you go to put it in a sentence, your mind's already moving on to the next sign, and you forget how to do thank you before you even do it. So
Mm.
it has to be muscle memory.
Mm.
True.
Oh.
Again, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, Guado.
Oh, this is fun.
This is fun.
It's
Bye,
fun
Guado.
having people come in and ask
Right?
questions.
I agree. I really, really liked it. I
This
really,
is
really
cool.
like it.
That something that Twitch is doing, you know?
Yeah, I know. We can call them directly from the chat. Hi, Reco. Hello. Hi.
By the way, I missed so much that was going on in the chat during all
No.
that, because I was just so happy that somebody was coming in and genuinely had interest and genuinely was learning from it. Like that and I know a lot of you are. I do. I really know. I recognize that a lot of you are, but it's the former instructor, former teacher in me. When there's an individual in front of me, I give them the focus and the attention. So I apologize if I missed any questions in chat.
It's fine. I know.
I'm terrible at this G. I'm terrible at it.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. Completely. It's definitely okay.
Is there a website you suggest us to use to learn sign language? If you are learning ASL, American Sign Language, English, then yes. If you're learning Italian or Chinese, French sign languages, I would suggest looking up those resources. And I have had a couple people reach out to me on Discord and ask about other ones, such as like Italian and Australian and different things. So I will help you locate the resources if you reach out to me on Discord. I'm in G's Discord. If you're trying to learn ASL, American Sign Language, then yes, it's called lifeprint.com. And I can, in a little bit, I'll post the link, or I'll send the link over to G and she can post it.
So you don't get
I don't
banned
get
again.
the hammer from
But
Jalford
you know
again.
what?
I'm just kidding, Jalford. I know it's not you.
I'm gonna grant you those the permission forever. Now you can forever link post in chat.
Oh,
I got you.
nice.
I got you. This will make it easier.
So lifeprint.com is owned, operated, ran by a professor. He does it all for free. It's a free access to the dictionary, vocabulary database for American Sign Language. His name is Bill Vickers. I've taken a few classes from him, and then he offers also his curriculum, his courses that he teaches or that he taught at the college in California. They're all on YouTube and built out in playlists.
Not you. Sorry, I was flipping off. Not you. I realized that I didn't. Sorry.
They're all built out in playlists under his YouTube channel. So it's Bill Vickers, BILLVICARS. Bill. If you just go to YouTube and type in Bill Vickers, you'll find it. And then on his YouTube channel, he has the link to lifeprint.com. That is his website. And it's all, so if you look up a word, it's like alphabetical or whatever. And if you want to know what the word is, you type it in the search bar and it brings up the word. You click on it and it shows a GIF of him doing like Christmas, of him doing the sign, and then gives you an explanation of like, can it have multiple meanings? What else can it mean? Gives you like, see also Christmas tree, see also, holiday, gives you other things that it relates to. It's a really wonderful resource and it's all 100% free. You can choose, just like anything else like this, to help and donate to his cause if you so choose, but it's not required. Everything is free.
Okay. Thank you, by the way, Daibook, for the $2 to charity. I appreciate you really much. Is ASL wait, someone was asking if I'm not misunderstood, sign language is different in each country. Yes. As like every language has also its own sign language, which is a freaking pain, but that's how it is for now.
But most grammatically are very similar. So the words the signs that relate to the words may be different, but grammatically they're kind of built the same. Because again,
for example, Christmas, there's like a C on top for C of Christmas, right? In Italian it's Natale, so it's with the N. So maybe most definitely it's not going to be with a C on top.
Right.
It might be something else.
The words will be different, but the structure is pretty much
the
same.
because also like the grammar is almost kind of the same. Maybe the Chinese one might be very different because they have a very different way to do their own structures, but
well, ASL, like I think I talked about it last time I was on here, ASL was originally based off French. It was a French professor that came up with American Sign Language, came up with the original sign language. And then when he moved to the States, he partnered up with a guy whose last name was Gallaudet, and they started the first deaf school in the United States, which later became Gallaudet University, which is the only, I don't know if it's the only anymore, but it is the primary deaf university in the United States. If it's not the only, then it's the primary. There may be one other one. So it's now a college. It's now a university, Gallaudet University. And I would really very much like to attend some classes there one day, but I am not fluent enough to stand a chance because I can hold basic conversations, but trying to learn a subject from a professor that is teaching me only in ASL, I'm having to pick up on signs I don't know all the way, and as well as try to retain the information they're giving me. I'm not ready for that yet.
I didn't think about like people that have to follow like a class in like university, which is like already if you know thing. If sorry, huge raid, Lizzie.
We got the dancing emote.
Lizzie, thank you for the raid. Hi, raiders. Welcome in. Nice to have you here. There are so many things going on today. We have a charity stream. For each donation, there is like a specific... can you point to the other side? To the other? Point to the other? Not the other corner? Exactly that corner. Right there, you can see, kind of right there, where his pinky finger is pointing at. There's...
I got moved. I keep moving on my screen.
There we go. Yeah, there we go. That one is like if you get tot donation, like you get to have those things on the Christmas tree that we have back here. So that's for it. So like we have rewards for 5, 10, 20, 50, and 100. So if you want to help us help out, thank you for that. We're already at... Wait, what? When did we get to 700?
Oh my goodness, and 4.
When did that happen? I did all of the bowls, right? I did all the bowls. Yes. Thank you so much. And at the same time, we are also learning about sign language. Something very cool. Lizzie, if you are in here, thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate you so much for that. If you want...
That is what I thought it was.
What?
Sorry, I forget that I'm talking out loud.
No, it's fine. Where Chris is teaching us sign language. So if you want to learn something very easy, chat, I know you would love it. I know you would love this one, but it's your mom. This is your mom, if you want to say something. Lizzie is resting. It's okay. Give her little smoochies from me, okay? I know you can send them with your mind, so send her smoochies. And if you wanna learn with us, every 20 minutes or so, I'll... Gee, already teaching bad words. Hi, Hank. Hello. If you want... How are you doing? If you want to show us what you've learned, you can request to join thanks to the feature with the Twitch of guest star. But that's it. If you want to have bowls on the tree, you can just donate to charity. Today we're helping people to eat. Anyway.
Yes, this is American Sign Language too.
What?
ASL.
Oh.
Somebody already pulled it out.
Mm-hmm. Is this a series? I would love it to become a series. Like every once in a while, Chris will come back and he was gonna give us more information, more things to learn. We're gonna show them what we learned and all of that. It would be lovely to have homeworks. And actually, something that I was thinking about, Chris, if you see that a lot of people reach out to you because they're interested, they want to know more, and you wanna create a space using my server, so you can reach more people. If you want to create a space like that, let me know, and I'll let you know how you can create a room, how you can create an event. So every once in a while, you can create an event, and people can jump in and just learn with you. They can ask you more things, and they can practice more if you want to, because it requires a lot of time.
If there's enough interest, for sure, I would absolutely love to do once a month or once every 2 weeks at most. Because people need time to practice and let it sink in.
Plus, you need your time off.
Also, yeah. I'm working on 4 projects right now. So, but yeah. So, probably at least once a month, have a meeting space, whether it's on my server, your server. I don't care. If anybody has interest, just please let me know so that I can gauge how much interest there is. And we'll meet once a month. We'll go over 5 to 10 signs to practice to add into your conversational skills. We'll all talk to each other on video. We'll get good at doing our introductions and then adding stuff to it. And then we'll build from there. So if there is interest, feel free to reach out. Again, this is American Sign Language, ASL. I do not speak Italian Sign Language. I am from America, from the United States. So... yeah, that's what I know as ASL. And for those that are rating and just joined, yes, I'm speaking. Yes, I am deaf. I lost my hearing about 3 years ago. And so I was part of the hearing community for 31 years. Yeah, 31 years of my life. So that is why I'm still speaking and things like that. So it kind of puts me in a unique place to be able to do things like this.
Mr. Mess, thank you so much for the $5. Sorry if I interrupt you.
No, you're fine.
Mr.
It's
Mess,
your stream, G. It's your stream.
No, I don't want to interrupt you. I don't want to interrupt you. Mr. Mess, thank you for the $5. I'm writing your name on the ribbon that then I'm going to put on the Christmas tree. Thank you for that. Thank you for helping us out,
Chris, can you do cheers, please? So it depends. Cheers can either be if you're talking about like cheers, like chinking glasses together, doing the clink, then you can do like cheers. If you're talking cheers like yay, hooray, things like that, then this is applause in sign language. So this is, instead of clapping, they do this. Just like with
Because it's more
poetry,
visible,
clapping.
right? I think that it's more visible than. Well,
Yeah. So you'll see it
hi
sometimes
Kanka.
in crowds and stuff. You gotta cover your face.
Oh yeah, right.
It's gotta focus every time. Works every time.
Yeah. There we go. Oh yeah, true. How do you say doctor and patient? Because there was someone, actually there was a doctor before asking about it. How do you say that?
Yeah, because I went over patients before. As far as the differences, like there's two. There's patients, like this, which is like your ability to wait, and then there's patient, and then there's doctor. But actually, I wish I could save it. So if you're meaning someone that is a patient of a doctor, something like that, then you're going to do the K hand sign.
Oh fuck. Oh shit. Wait.
Do you remember the K hand sign?
Oh my god. It's the face up, but it's in a weird way.
Yeah. It's
face
not
up.
It's not like
face.
this.
It's not face up, but it's like this.
It's kind of phase up, kind of, yeah. So it's the K hand sign, and then you're gonna think of like the old time war movies and stuff. The medics had a cross. They wore the armband with a cross. So that's like patient.
Yeah. Oh, this is patient. Okay.
Patient, but with the K hand sign / P hand sign. So P for patient. So medical patient. So that is patient. Let me ensure that doctor is correct, because I know a sign for doctor, but it is very East Coast. Very East Coast. I want to find the actual ASL for doctor. Okay,
Yeah, because
it's the same.
it's the same. Okay.
It's the same. So for doctor, you're going to do the platform, like your hand. You remember I did again,
Yeah, this was again.
but it's on the back of the palm, like that.
Okay,
That's
so
doctor.
just like this.
Yeah, so you're going to like.
So it's like a doctor pushing the bed of the patient. So like you're pushing your
Sure.
doctor.
Yeah. That's a good way to think of it. Is
Okay.
yeah. So it's just
Doctor. Is the semantic of the language working in the same way it works in natural language? It's all from context. If so, you can have semantic jokes too. Anka goes on with the difficult questions. What?
jazz hands. I'm sorry. I was looking at
Jazz hands.
if you were a doctor,
Oh, you
how
did.
can you ask to a deaf patient if
I
he can
didn't
visit
realize I
them?
asked something.
Do you mean? I'm sorry. I'm having trouble understanding that question a little bit, and it's just my dumb brain. So, if you were a doctor, how can you ask to a deaf patient if he can visit them? Do you mean like, can the doctor ask like, can I come in? May I see you?
No,
May I help you? Kind of thing. Or are you saying?
I think that's
if the
what they're
patient
meaning. I think like usually like you ask like, can I like pat, like usually before touching someone, like like you go like, can I like if someone is like and they have to like,
Yes.
Can
Can I
I-
visit you?
is it okay if I'm wrapped like
So it depends on the situation. If you're the doctor and you're asking if you can visit with them, if you're asking if you can come into the room if they're ready, then it would kind of just be like can, which in this case would come off as may. So it's like, can I come in?
But
Come in.
how do you ask, can I come in if you're outside, there's a door? You just go with
So
the hand in
generally-
and you go like, you flip the light. How?
So with my doctors, when I go and visit now, obviously they know about my situation. So a lot of times, unless I'm actively changing into a robe or something like that, they won't even shut the door
Oh.
until the doctor is in the room. So when the nurse checks me in, they do my vitals, they set me on the table, and then they'll leave the door propped so that when the doctor walks up to the door, I can see him from outside. And then he'll get my attention from outside the door, and then he'll just go like, me come in, and I'm just like, yep, you're good. And then he comes in and He'll shut the door, and then we do our interaction like that. So you can simply just say like, "Can I come in? Can I visit with you?" Something like that. If you're already in the room and you're asking, "Can I interact with you?
Mm-hmm.
Can I, is it okay
Mm-hmm.
to touch? Okay to see? Okay, whatever the situation is. Like, so if I need
Okay.
to listen to your heart, if I need to see, what hurts.
Mm-hmm.
So okay for me to touch. So it just depends on the situation, on specifically what you're asking.
Like, if you had a friend also deaf, and she's like changing in a room, and you have to enter the room, but you don't want to like walk on her like changing. How would you do it? Like, would you tell them just you come
So you know
out?
how when you have a roommate in college and they're like, when the sock's on the door, don't come in.
Yeah.
That's where that comes from, basically. And to my knowledge and my understanding is almost like do not disturb signs on the outside of the door. And then a lot of times too, there's if the door is shut, it just means I want to be left alone.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll go in, shut the door, change, and then open the door back up at least a little bit, because a lot of our communication is visual. So we can't just have somebody go, "Hey, do you want some food?" from the other room. Like, it's just not going to work that way. So they
Send
have
them
to
a
come up
message.
and be seen. Right. So nowadays it's a lot easier, because either the door's open or if the door's closed, you can just text them and be like, "Hey, is it okay if I come in? I need to ask you something." Or, and a lot of times the response to that's going to be, "The door's closed and you're texting me. Just ask me through text." Yeah, technology's made communication a lot easier, for sure. But like I said last time, my door right there with the light switch behind me, my kids just open the door and flip the light. They'll just stick their hand in and flip the light, and it flashes the lights, and that's their way of getting my attention. So you can do something similar. Just crack the door and hit the light switch.
Okay.
So,
I don't know why they. Okay. We actually have someone that wants to ask a question. Chat, the requests to join in are always open. Whenever you want, you just do the request and I'll push you in. But wait, I need to first. Oh no, we're gonna wait because they have to set up all the things that I was telling you that you also had to do. Ank has a very smart brain question for you, Chris.
the So Professional one.
What do you think could technology do to further improve the deaf community life?
So several things. This is a two-parter. So I'm sorry, I might be a little long-winded on this one. So I'm sorry to you, G, and I'm sorry to you, Ank. And it's nice to talk to you, Ank. Obviously, I've heard a lot about you because I've been in G's chat for a little bit now. And I got to see you on the Halloween stream, so that was fun for me. But yeah, so as far as technology improving the experience and improving the ability to communicate for the deaf community, there's definitely options out there. And some of it's kind of shown up a little bit in small samples. I developed the software that I'm using right now that captions what comes through my audio. So generally speaking, if you're outside of a meeting app or something like Google Meet or Teams or Skype, they all have their own individual caption options. And I developed a program that literally just references my audio port, and then it captions whatever's coming in through my audio. So a universal caption software that's better than mine, obviously. Mine's not good, but it does the job for me. But if they created one that was universal that could run simply off the audio of any given computer, phone, or anything like that, that would be terrific. There's been a university that was doing a project recently with gloves that are motion censored.
Oh!
So as people were signing, it was then outputting, an electronic voice that was interpreting what they were saying when they were signing. So they got it to recognize all the letters and finger spelling. There's certain motions
That
and
is so
stuff,
cool.
and that gets tricky as it stands right now, because if you don't do the motion exactly as the AI recognizes it, if you do a slang version, or some people get sloppy as they get more comfortable, because they're just used to doing it, just like people get sloppy with speaking too, then the AI struggles to recognize it. So I think something to that effect would be cool. And then a few months back, Snapchat had filters where you could do certain hand signals, hand signs, and it would make
What?
something happen on the screen. And
What?
so in my developer programmer brain, I was like, what would be so hard about
Oh,
setting
okay,
up
no.
like a
There
FaceTime
was
app
there
where
was
when you're
this
signing, it's translating into captions what you're signing.
there was a Doctor Who once, right?
I don't know if it was the Doctor Who ones. They had one where I love you would bring up hearts on the screen.
Oh,
They had
okay.
another one where it would bring up like birds or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it was actual signs. And
That's
it
really
was
cool.
during September, which is Deaf Awareness Month.
Mm.
Um,
Addie Snow is asking what is the software, the name of the software. Which one, Addie Snow? And Dev, he said he feels like his hearing is at 97% right now.
yeah, so diagnosed. According to the audiologist, I'm at 97% hearing loss. So no, I don't still have a little hearing for you, Dev Gun
Sucks.
Gray.
Oh,
Dev, I'm gonna call you Dev. Says, how do you hear G, or do you still have a little hearing? No. So I coded out a caption software, very basic caption software that references my audio device. So whatever's coming through would be coming through my speakers. It just applies captions to it. So I'm reading what G is saying. So that's why there's a little bit of a delay, is because I'm having to read what she's saying as she's saying it.
Or like sometimes if you see him ignoring me, it's not like actually ignoring me. It's more like he didn't see the caption under.
Right. If I was focused on reading a question in chat, I may have missed what G said.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. So again,
Yeah.
struggles.
That did not
And then
happen.
the second part to Ank's question that I wanted to answer was, no matter what technological advances we make, there's going to be some pushback, as with every community. When you start changing tradition or you start changing things about their culture, some parts of the culture in the community can get very touchy. So it's very similar with speech therapy. It's been seen by some of the deaf community as, a negative thing, teaching us how to speak. It's the same thing with content creators. When they originally started, deaf content creators originally started, they were very looked down upon by some members of the deaf community because it was seen as like trying to fit into the hearing world and not being proud of who you are as a deaf person. It's not everyone, and it's not even a majority, but there are always members of a community that are going to have a negative outlook on anything you try to do. So I think the biggest concern and the reason we haven't made more technological advances towards helping the deaf community communicate better is because there's been that kind of pre-existing pushback. And again, I've only been a part of the deaf community for 3 years. So I'm still learning too.
And that's also why you don't have much of the accent that we were talking about.
Right. Over time, I'll probably develop more of what people call the deaf accent. Yeah. Over time, I'll probably develop more of it, but I don't think it'll ever be, I'll lose my ability to speak because I try to practice enough to maintain as much as I can. My words already start to slur together a little bit, but it's not terrible. So how to ask someone that I want to be friends with them in ASL? Okay. Great question. And there is a way to like sign it out how you would speak it. Like, hey, do you want to be friends? But in the deaf community, and as far as I can tell, universally in the deaf community, they're very direct and to the point. Oh. So the easiest way would be like, hey, you, me, friends.
Friends. This
and
is
you would
friends.
raise your eyebrows like a question. Friends? So you, me, friends?
Oh, that's cute.
Very direct and gets to the point, So I like it. That's a good question.
How do you say donate to how do you say donate to charity?
So give money. You could develop a name sign for the charity, or you could just spell out charity. I don't know that there is a sign for charity.
Don't look at that one.
That would be. I will look on lifeprint.com.
I need to change the donate. I'm gonna remove the donate one because don't give it to me. Don't give that money to me.
There is.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that accurate? That's something else. I don't trust you. I'm going to go to life print. Hold on. There's a lot of... Yeah, see?
Okay, now chat, you should
makes
have
more
the
sense.
right links, even if you do dono, charity, donation, and all of that.
Wait, why is Chris already here? Wasn't he supposed to be at 4? No, not this time.
You
No, she
lost it,
asked me to
Jake.
come
It,
in
it
early.
ends at 4.
In 8
Jake,
minutes.
and Jake, you're Dumbo. You donated 30, but there is for 20 there is the tag, this one, and for 50 there is the bigger tag. What do you want to do? Do you want to increase or do you want to stay with the 20? Finally, he's back and we can finally ask him. Sorry, I have to go bargaining mode. Venghino, signori, l'arrotino. It's gonna bring you better quality product. This is better. This is gonna be good for your Christmas gift. Oh, sorry. No, sorry. You couldn't
Very
understand
basic.
shit because I was saying things with an Italian accent.
Very basic caption software that still works better than Twitch caption software. True, very true. That's why I won't use Twitch's caption software. It's that third-party service that Twitch brings in, the captioning, is awful. It's terrible. And that's what I mean when I answered Ank's question about having a universal one that is accepted and works well. That would be great.
Sorry, I have another troll. I have another troll. Your mom, Tommy. This is your mom. Sorry, continue.
I love it. How you can speak so good without hearing yourself? Muscle memory. At this point, it's muscle memory. Like I said, I will probably start to lose that ability over time. Nice excuse, Keck W. I'm not sure what that was in reference to.
Nice excuse.
You did, not me.
Yeah, but you don't have to read every. I know. I have to teach you this. Once messages in chat starts to get too many, it's okay if you. It's completely okay.
Well, I'm
if you
kinda
miss.
just
I know.
skipping through
I
looking
was
for the
doing the
questions.
same. I was doing the same.
Because like this one was asked twice, like do you use a hearing aid or are you speaking pure muscle memory? It's kind of the same as how do you speak so well when you can't hear yourself? So yeah, same thing, just muscle memory. And then let's see, anything new that popped up?
Where do you look for words you don't know? You were talking about live print, right?
Yeah, lifeprint.com is what I use for American Sign Language. Again, owned, ran, and created by Bill Vickers. It's all free resources. You can't beat free. And Bill is a college professor that teaches. He's hard of hearing, and he teaches on a college level ASL 1 through 4, as well as the advanced courses beyond that. So from basic ASL all the way up through advanced interpreting classes and things like that. If you don't mind me asking, do your kids know ASL? Yes, some. They're learning. They're learning with me at the same time. We attend family classes. So we all learn to communicate together.
That's really cool.
So it's really, really great. My son, not so much. He's less interested. He's a young, he's an 8-year-old boy.
Yeah.
So it's not video games or Pokemon, so he doesn't care as much. But my daughter is doing outstanding with it, and she has a lot of interest in it. So I know BSL, but British Sign Language. I have always liked some of the similarities and a lot of the differences, obviously, between BSL and ASL, because to me that one's intriguing because they both are English. It's British English and American English, and then ASL is obviously much different than BSL. So
sorry, Jake just made the right decision. Jake, thank you so much for the $20 more. Now you get to have the cooler tag. Thank you for that. I'm gonna put a Jake here. I'm gonna do it with. I think that this is the very first one that we get, the very first 51 that we get. So I'm gonna make it pretty.
Oh, that went a different direction than.
So, oh, fuck, I've made a heart where there's already a heart, but it's fine. So you got a name tag with 2 hearts.
Cover your face.
Oh, true. I don't.
Works every time.
I never learn. After every message is sent, Automat. Yeah, chat. We have Automat on level 3, so it's like super very careful. because this is the rule for a guest star to have it. So that's it. But Jake, thank you so much for the $50 donation to charity. You're doing something great. And this is a really cool name tag. I'm gonna put
Good job, Jake.
right here. Right here, so it's super visible.
Strudes, how do you cope with day-to-day things? Like if someone rings your doorbell, how do you know that? Or when your alarm go off, how can you hear it? It's definitely a change. It's been a learning process over the last 3 years. So I have a doorbell that when it's pressed, it flashes my lights in the house. Like it Bluetooth connects to like smart power outlets. And so I plug my lamps and stuff in, like this one here. I plug those into those smart outlets. So when someone rings the doorbell, it flicks them on and off. Same thing with my alarm. It's actually here. This is my alarm. And it has, if I look at the volume, it has different volume levels. And then it has, I don't know if you can really see that. There's two symbols here on the side. One is alarm like the sound, and the other one is vibrations. So it has a disc that syncs to it. And this plastic disc goes in my pillowcase under my head, like on the bottom side of the pillow, and it just vibrates the pillow when my alarm goes off. And then the clock itself has a light built in behind it, an LED light that flashes. So it sits in front of my face and flashes at me, and then the pillow vibrates to help wake me up. That's how my alarm goes off.
Would it be useful to have like a smartwatch, as someone was saying, that you can keep on all the time? So, and it's connected to your door, it's connected to your alarm, it's connected to everything, it just vibrates your wrist.
Yeah. The only problem with that is someone like me who doesn't wear a watch all the time.
Okay.
It's
You would
annoying
have
to me
to learn to that, and that's not.
because I don't like things on this wrist, and I already wear something on this wrist that won't come, like will not come. It's not that it won't, but it will not come off. I won't take it off. They'll have to cut it off me when I die. So it's hard to like. So yes, it is a very valid option. And during the day, like when I go out in public, I do wear my smartwatch. I have like a Fitbit or something. I don't remember. I think it's a Fitbit.
Oh,
yeah, it's a
Confused
Fitbit.
Cat.
I do wear.
Confused Cat, thank you for the 25.5. Why 25.55? Well, thank you so much for the 25.55. I'll get you the small name tag, Small Confused Cat. Appreciate you. Chat, can I have W's in chat for Small Cat and a $25 to the... Wait, we are very close to our goal, chat. We're very close to our goal. This is
Oh, we're
fucking
getting
amazing.
there.
We're getting there. Thank you so much for this, chat. I really appreciate you. Confused Cat, I got your small...
If you need to call the police or an ambulance. Yeah, that's a great one. We haven't had that question yet.
Oh, true.
So for me, pretty straightforward. I have caption software on my smartphone, so it captions what they're saying to me, and I still speak.
On the smartphone too? Oh, okay.
Well, there's apps that exist already on the smartphone. So the one that I use is called InnoCaption. Confused Cat.
Oh, it's Confuse Cat. I added one D to make it good English. Hope you don't mind.
So yeah, I use an app on my phone that's called InnoCaption, and basically any incoming or outgoing calls, it runs through the caption software. So it still treats everything like a normal call. So I could call 911 or something through that. And then if people don't have that caption software, there are video phones. So a lot of, in the past, before smartphones were so prevalent, a lot of people had like home phones that had a monitor, and they would dial in to an interpreter that would show up on the screen, and the interpreter would speak to the person on the other end of the phone and interpret everything that was being said back and forth between the member on the other end of the call that was deaf versus the hearing person on the other end, if that needed to be. So there are emergency numbers and things that are set in place for us to be able to just dial or send, a call to. And it's all automatically recognized that that call is coming from somebody who either can't speak or can't hear or things of that nature. So they do have some stuff in place.
Wait, I'm inviting people that am I writing to the wrong person? Anyway, do we have other things that we could learn?
Yeah, I've got a couple more things we could talk about. What smartphone do you have? iPhone? And then how do you talk to people who might not know ASL? And thank you for teaching us. Well, you're welcome for teaching you. And it's literally every day that I talk to people that don't know ASL. The majority of the population of the world don't know sign language because it doesn't directly affect them. So the best way I can say that I do it is also advice for you guys if you ever interact with someone who is deaf. I try to get them to look directly at me so that I can read their lips and interpret their body language in context. And I just try to make it as clear as possible that I need them to just put a little more effort in, just a little bit, to help me be able to interpret what it is that they're saying. And if worse comes to worse, I pull out my phone and text them like a note, create a notepad thing on your phone and go back and forth over that, or pull out some receipt paper and write on that with a pen, things like that. So there's definitely ways to communicate as long as both parties are willing to put in the work. And sometimes that's not always the case because a little bit of extra work makes people uncomfortable. And so you get blown off a lot. People just kind of don't care. So it happens. So my advice to you guys out of that is just put in a little bit of effort. It goes a long way.
Actually, someone has a very cool questions that I want your answer. Do horror movies scare you? Because they use certain frequencies to make you shake and scare only that for a friend of mine. They have no effort, and I thought it may be the fact that of not hearing in one ear canceled the effect of the frequency used. Like, but in general, like, do horror movies scare you? Like, usually there's also the sound, there's like the jump scare and all of that. Do horror movies scare you?
So the stuff that pops up on screen obviously still gets me. If there's loud sounds, and that's nothing happens on screen, it's just something that's supposed to be off screen, and it's like a loud noise, or the music gets real intense. Obviously, that doesn't affect me. But we watch, like with my kids, we watch movies with the subtitles on. So usually it'll annotate like music intensifies, suspenseful music, loud bang. It'll say things like that, which I always react to late, which makes my kids laugh hysterically. They love it when it like shows up in the subtitles like loud bang, and I'll be like, ah,
Do you
because they
do
know it
that
doesn't
for the
actually scare
wait?
me. But
Okay.
yeah, they know it doesn't actually scare me. I'm playing it off because of the subtitles, because it's so, honestly, I mean, I get why they put them in, but I don't know why they put them in, if that makes sense, because
Yeah, but they
it's
put it so
just
like
kind
if
of
you
ruining the
see,
ambience.
yeah, but at the same time, if you see people like jumping and you're like, why are you jumping? At least you see loud. They're jumping because there was a loud noise.
Yeah, I have been in the situation where watching a movie and it's so involving enough that when other people react and jump, it scares me. So I actually like jump to them jumping. They're,
That's so
they're
cool.
quick movements.
That's
So
actually really cool.
yeah, so it does happen that way. What type of music do you listen to?
Oh, Marco.
Like what vibrations get to you and hit the spot? Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Anything with a strong bass. We talked about this the last time I was on. So those that were here before are going to hear it again. I apologize, but I don't mind. So hopefully you don't either. But anything with a strong bass line, obviously, because that's much more intense vibrations. My personal favorite is professional level beatboxing, because all of it is vibrations created through the mouth and stuff. So, and it just, it hits different in, you turn the headphone volume way up and everything vibrates. So I actually really enjoy people that do professional beatboxing. Yeah.
Marco, thank you
got
so much
another
for
one.
the $5. I appreciate you very much. I'm writing down your ribbon. Marco MCO. Thank you for that. Wait, let me show you your ribbon. Ribbon. There we go. Nice. No, Jake, if you want to come on stream and ask questions, you're welcome. Sorry. maybe because maybe if you missed out on something and you want to just show Chris what do you remember, you can come on stream and try if you want. Okay.
The movie is telling you be scared now. Yeah, exactly. There might as well be a countdown with the subtitles. It might as well be like, okay, be ready to be scared in 3, 2, 1. Okay. For all this technology, how they could run their day-to-day life easily without being isolated. So yeah, it's a lot of times the majority of people were isolated. You know, it's all throughout the history of the deaf community, which is why there's portions of the deaf community that see speech therapy and things like that as negative, because they were the ones that were kids and were forced to go to speech therapy, forced to try to be normal. They were made to sit on their hands, not sign, try to learn how to talk. They were tortured more or less, because deafness was still seen as a sickness and not as a culture or a way of life. So a lot of people were isolated, didn't lead fulfilling or successful lives, you know, up until 40, 50 years ago, even. Obviously, it's nowhere near as bad as other cultures and stuff have had it, but still, it's technology has allowed it to advance a lot over the years. So it's very thankful for that.
I'm gonna get myself some more water. If you need any break to get water or anything like that, let me know, of course. Wait, he's focused on the question. Wait, he's focused on chat.
I'm reading. You're getting
okay.
water, right?
Okay, I'm gonna leave you with chat. I'm gonna leave you with chat
Okay.
for a second. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'll take this to catch up. Take this time to catch up.
And also, chat, you still have time to join. If you want to join, just request and I'll push you in so you can ask directly questions. You can, if you have like a long thread of questions, you can just join in and just have a conversation directly with Chris. I think that it's also easier if you want. I'll be right back.
Yeah, love that. Let's see. Let's see if I can catch up here. Why did you receive an invite to join the stream, Jake? I guess she assumes that you have questions that you'd like to ask. And we're such good friends. This is the power of thinking. To rewatch next time. Somebody should request and come in. I know people got questions here. Did you notice an increasement in other senses? This one came up last time too. So did I notice? I don't categorize it as an increase in my other senses. I just categorize it as me paying attention to them more. I have one less one to rely on, so I'm focusing more on the other ones. So my reaction time, my eyesight, my sense of smell, things like that. I don't think that it's that they got better. I just think that I was forced to pay more attention to them. But there's definitely been a change. I definitely see things that I wouldn't have noticed before, or smell different things, things like that. So an increase, not so much, but more attention, more focus to them. Yeah, for sure. You should go, Aria. Yeah, you should go, Aria. Somebody should go. I'm learning Auslan, not ASL, and I don't have anything good to ask. Otherwise, I would. Yeah, you reached out to me about that before. I'm glad you found some good resources. And again, I got a friend in Australia that learned and has been most of their life using Auslan. So if you need any other resources, feel free to reach out again. I'm all about the awareness. Did your friends try to learn how to sign to you, or you adapted to them? So mostly, and this is before anybody gets judgmental of my friends, mostly I adapted to them, but it's because of me. I took on a negative mindset very early on when I started losing my hearing, and I realized and was told by the doctors that I was going to lose all of my hearing. I decided in that moment that I wasn't going to be a burden to my family or my friends or anyone else. I was not going to make them change their life to be able to communicate with me. If I wanted to keep them in my life and I wanted to be in their life, then I was going to put in the work. to make sure. And that's why I developed the caption software, so I can still talk to my friends online through Discord and things like that. So I put so much effort into learning more about body language and interpreting people's emotions, psychology, lip reading, all of that, which the military helped with some of that. So, yeah, I'm more or less adapted myself, but many of them, my friends in particular, have surprised me by learning some signs or finding other ways to be able to communicate with me and showing me that I didn't have to be so negative about it. They're a big reason that I was able to turn that mindset around, and the reason I decided to continue trying to live my life to the fullest instead of just like isolating myself, because they did a lot to reach out to me and let me know that they weren't giving up on communicating with me. So some of them have tried to learn signs. Some of them have found other ways to be able to communicate with me. So you'll contact me. You're using some basic stuff at the moment. Perfect. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
And some people is asking like if the veteran support system helped you since like you lost your hearing during military service.
Well, since we're on a stream in Italy, I feel comfortable saying this.
Yeah.
No. They
No?
provided me medical care as far as getting my audiology appointments and my diagnosis, but VA
They didn't help you
veterans
with like
insurance-
classes or anything like that.
VA is, the veterans insurance is free for a certain number of years when you first get out of the military, and then if you have a certain level of disability, then it's free for life. But you get what you pay for in the United States. I know that healthcare is free in a lot of other countries, and it's good healthcare. In the United States, if you're receiving free healthcare, it is the bottom of the barrel worst healthcare you can get. It is awful. I have to wait 6 months for a referral to go out in town to get seen for an audiology appointment. I have to wait a year to get approved for a surgery unless it's life-threatening. Like, yeah,
shit.
Veterans are used and abused, and then when they're out of the military, it's like something crazy. Like, I don't even want to throw out a specific statistic, but it's more than half of the homeless population in the United States is veterans.
Oh my God.
Because there's no support for them. There's no adaptation for them. There's nothing that teaches them how to, re-assimilate back into civilian life and how to be successful and get a job and how to deal with, stress and post-traumatic stress and anxieties and things like that. And so it's really bad.
Adina, thank you so much for the $20 donation. Ding dong, King Chat for the $20 donation. Thank you so much for that, Adina. I got you with your name tag. Sorry for this change of like mood from like bad USA to hi. Let's go. Thank you for the donation, Ding dong. Thank you, Adina. I appreciate you.
I'm not trying to talk trash on all of the VA. I'm just saying they're limited. They have a limited budget, and then it's not privatized, so nobody's paying for the service. So they can't serve everyone as quickly as they'd like because they can only afford to hire so many doctors, hire so many nurses, hire so many, or build so many centers that, hospitals, that kind of stuff. So it's not that they're intentionally being bad to veterans. It's just that they don't have the support to be able to support the veterans. So I'm not at all talking trash about the VA specifically. I'm talking trash about the system in place that supports the VA. So let's make that clear.
How could you talk?
Yes, I was a Marine. And can you imagine, do you remember sounds? Some. So we had a very interesting conversation about this last time, how G and Ank sound the same to me in my head, because in my head, I have a memory of a very specific Italian accent, and I don't know where it came from, but when someone says that they're Italian, that's the accent that I remember, the sound that I remember in my head. So everyone that's Italian sounds exactly the same to me. So G hates when I say that, but
I sound like Ank. Fuck.
it's the same thing. Everybody that's Scottish is Sean Connery. Everybody that's Spanish is Antonio Banderas. Like, there's sounds that I have in the bank, in the memory. And that's just what I relate things to. So.
Do I sound a little bit like Mario to you? Like, do you
That might be where it
imagine?
came from, honestly.
Yeah?
That might be I didn't associate it with Mario, but that might be like the biggest standout like accent in my head because it is kind of eccentric, like a little over the top Italian.
It's me, Mario. You don't get it, but still, like I was doing the voice. I was, yeah.
Yeah, I'm imagining you did it perfectly. We'll just say you did it perfectly.
Oh, wait, we have the fight.
We do have the fight. So
Uh,
why are you in Italy? I'm not in Italy. I'm not. I'm in Tennessee in the United States.
but how can I cannot. Ooh. I cannot screen share to you though. But I can. Oh, I can. I can share with you. How big can you make my cam from guest star? Big, Chris.
I'm sorry.
How
One
big
more
can
time?
you? Yeah, it's good. How big can you make my camera in the app that we're using for the call?
About the same as Discord, but then I can't see chat, which is not, that's fine. You
No,
can.
it's just to like because I wanna watch the video with you where there's the Italian talking with their hands, and I wanna see if what kind of conversation do we get, the two of
It's
us.
gonna be awful.
Let's see. So I'm gonna share with the chat and
Yes, it's true. Thinking about my other senses, do I protect them more carefully now? Yeah, I definitely have started trying to get more healthy, doing vitamins and all that kind of stuff to help protect my eyesight, all that kind of stuff. Like, because already I have glasses, and because of the military injuries that I had, they affect the nervous system part of my brain, which is what caused me to lose my hearing, and so it also affects my eyesight. So there was a chance that I could have gone deaf and blind, but fortunately for me, it was just one of the two. So yeah, I definitely pay more attention and try to protect them as much as I can.
yeah, chat. We are on the front page. We are on the front page.
Woo-woo.
We are on the front page for the charity and the guest star. So please remember to give back. No, it's fine. Let me see if
Alfred went into lurk mode. Wow.
a job for it.
Well, at least he won't block me anymore.
Oh, oh. I have Lo. Let me see what I can do in order for you to see as much as possible. No, Hablo, the wrongest decision ever. Hablo, thank you so much for the 5 gifted. But today is not about subs. It's not about me. Today is about donations. If I could, like, Twitch should add like something where you can like pause the gifting and all of that. Stop subbing. Thank you for the 5 gifted. I appreciate you very much, but don't. Today is about. It's as you want. If you donate, there's also like. Can you point at the rewards for the donation, please? Chris, can you please point at the donation? There we go. If you donate, you get those rewards. You get things on the tray. Remember, don't forget to donate. We're raising money for Word Central Kitchen. The Word Central Kitchen. So we can donate food for other people. Stop something! There we go. Anyway, you can keep answering questions from chat. I'm gonna be like trying to find a way to have this all set up. Like you.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me know if you need any help, I guess. I don't know. Stop subbing poggers. Yep. Any other questions? I can't believe none of you are requesting to come in and have like a face-to-face chat for a minute or two. Like this is like an awesome idea in my head. Like I think that it's terrific to be able to get one-on-one FaceTime.
Yeah.
Or 2-on-1 in this case. Now we'll stick with 1-on-1. 2-on-1 sounds dirty. We won't say that. Don't look at me with your judgmental eyes, G.
Chris.
You're not gonna judge me when every sign I do, you somehow relate to something bad. Okay? I said one thing. I'm too shy, unfortunately. Oh, me too. I have severe shyness, if you want to call it that. I like to call it social anxiety, but I don't have severe social anxiety. I just have some, and it's kind of exacerbated or increased by the fact that I can't understand what people say most of the time. So I think Aria said she wanted to come in, right?
Um,
Should
I
send her an
wish.
invite.
I wish. She will never. She will never. I know
Didn't,
my.
wasn't
I
she
know
on the
my
cooking?
chickens. I know my chickens.
Wasn't she on the cooking one? Didn't she? Wasn't she part
Yeah,
of the
but
cooking?
I don't know why she's still shy. Ari.
Is it me? Did I do something wrong, Aria? Did I
No.
upset you?
Nah.
It's my bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's fine. If Statua del Grinch is getting ready to join, so maybe we're gonna be having a talk with someone soon. In the meantime, I'm gonna try to fix so we can show the video. The only point is like there's a pain to like join as a guest because of all the things that we were telling you about, like the apply like the all the. But it's just to make sure that I don't get like super trolls.
Right,
That's it.
right.
Let me see.
Oh, that's a good idea. Next time we do
What?
this, make a Google form for questions and it'll be easier for the shy ones. They can just ahead of time type down their questions and then you can read them or whatever.
Yeah, but then they will not be joining the call because they hope that they will get their questions asked there. And we want them to get out of their comfort zone. Oh my god.
That's right.
Comfort
We do.
zone.
I'm out of my comfort zone here.
There we go. Stop.
I may have seen a message saying Aria and Cammy were fighting to join the stream. Jake. Jake's always causing drama.
Well, Haplo said that they would have been able to also donate. Fucking hell, they are. Haplo, thank you so much for the 100.
Oh wow.
What the fuck? Thank you so much for the 100. I appreciate you. I appreciate you so freaking much. Thank you. Thank you, Haplo. Wait, I got your ribbon. You got the second out of 3. You got the second out of 3 ribbons. There's only 3. So there's only 1 left. Only 1 left. And this goes to the big boys. Big donos. Appreciate you so much, Haplo. Fuck. Thank you for the 5 gifted. Sorry if I made you feel like you had to donate. Haplo, thank you so much for the 1,000. 100. 100. Thank you for the 100. I appreciate you. We're getting closer to the 1,000, I was going to say. My brain mixed together the sentences. Haplo, I got you. Wait, let's
Crazy.
see. For real.
Chat's killing it today.
For real,
All
chat.
doing good.
I swear. I said as we started, I said like the 1,000 was a very high goal. So I appreciate you. I really appreciate
That's amazing.
that one. Ashkan, we don't care about that today. Today is not about me. Haplo. Ecco.
Favorite food in ASL? Yeah, so food is pretty straightforward. Well, I'm going to let her finish the ribbon thing and then we'll
There we go.
go into that.
He
I don't want to distract from that.
It's so cool. It's gonna be right here.
Oh, excuse me. Coffee.
So, where's the other one?
Bam, got your place on the tree.
So we have Stoic Viper and Haplo with the big ribbons on the tree. Drink umbrella. Look at the
Oh, that's a great question too.
drink umbrella. Thank you so much. Thank you for the 50. Shit! We're getting so close.
Almost there.
Drinking umbrella. Thank you so much for the 50. Wait, let me do this is the one that you got. Look,
Oh, you learned. Look, you covered your face.
but still it doesn't work.
It's not working.
Come on!
Give it a wiggle. Give it a wiggle.
Yeah,
Yep,
alright.
there it went.
That's the one. I'm gonna put your name in here. Drink umbrella.
For the question, favorite food while she's writing that. So favorite, middle finger out on the chin. Favorite food. Favorite food. So like the Italian hand sign, you know, but at the mouth. Food. So favorite food. And then the other question that I saw that was really good was if you could fix just one thing that bothers you now that you can't hear, what would that be? Tinnitus.
What?
Nobody tells you that even when you lose your hearing, tinnitus isn't actually something that's happening. You know what I'm talking about? Tinnitus, the ringing,
No.
the
What is
ringing in
that?
your ears,
Is it called
like when you hear
tinnitus?
like the high pitch, just
Oh.
constant high pitch noise.
Mm-hmm.
It's called tinnitus,
Oh.
and it feels like and seems like it's in your ears. It's actually not. It's actually comes from like the nervous system. So even though I lost my hearing, the tinnitus didn't go away. So now, not only do I hear nothing from the external world, I constantly, all the time, hear a high pitched ringing noise
Wait,
because I had
constantly?
tinnitus before I lost my hearing.
Constantly?
All the time. That's the only thing I can hear because it's coming from my nervous system, not from my ears. So the only thing that I
What?
hear outside of nothing is a high pitched ringing noise. So I would change
What?
that. I would get rid of the tinnitus if I
How?
could get rid of anything.
Isn't that nerve-wracking? Oh, Dumbbell, thank you for the 30. Thank you for the 30.
Absolutely. Absolutely nerve wracking. Yeah. Because the way I would drown it out before I lost my hearing was loud music or something, you know, I would listen to stuff and it would drown out kind of the tinnitus. Now there's no way to drown it out. So
Dumba, thank you so much. Thank you for the 30. Thank you so freaking much. Just to be sure, Dumba, tell me if I'm right. I'm gonna write your name on the ball, even if the ball is for 10. You don't want to have neither this one that is for 20 or the other one that is for 50. Am I right, Dumbo? Just to be sure. Can I bargain for 2 green balls for 20? One for my Bella, one other. Oh yeah, you can. Okay, you can. Okay, 2 balls. One for you, one for Bella. I got you. Or you can have a name tag with both of your name together. There's also a heart. But that is 20 more. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me doing sales.
you're bargaining.
Look at me bargaining. I could do more. I put in for 20
Best
more.
I can do is 45. Best
For
I can
20
do.
more. I can offer you for 20 more. I can
And a
provide you
ShamWow.
this one that also has a heart. So I can put your name and write and Bella. Isn't this sweet? So you're together instead of being like 2 separated balls. How is this new offer sounding to you? Did that work, chat?
When they told you that you would lose your hearing, did you do something to remember sounds or try to listen more carefully? Yeah, I created a 15.5-hour playlist on Spotify of just like my favorite songs that I could remember at the time and going through, and I would listen to it on repeat for months. I just 15.5 hours on random repeat, random shuffle repeat, just to try to be able to remember all the songs. I had long conversations with family members, friends, things like that, to be able to try to internalize what their voice sounded like, which I didn't realize at the time was probably a bad thing. Because like now, my daughter and my son will always sound like a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old to me. I'll never get to hear how their voice changes as they get older. So it's always internalized.
We have someone that is joining us soon, I think, but I think that they have a problem with the mic. Statwa, check your microphone. It just says that you're muted.
Oh, you should be able to just click the little icon for your mic.
Maybe.
It did the same thing for me. It had mine as muted.
20
Best I
more
can do
seconds!
is just like,
Chat! Domba accepted the deal. Domba accepted the deal. It's fine. No, you did. Oh, that was you. Domba, thank you so much for the 20 more. Thank you. It worked. It worked. It fucking worked.
you're
So-
a salesperson.
Yeah, I'm a salesperson. So, Dumbbell, should I write Dumbbell and then Bella? Is that it? Right? Tell me if I'm right. Marketing worked. Marketing worked very well. Let's go, Dumbbell. I appreciate you so much. Wait,
I need a haircut.
minus 20 to go? Only minus 20 to go? Only minus 20 to go?
Crushing it. Yeah, you're 980.
Okay. Comes first. Bella first. Bella first and then Dumbbell. Okay. Bella, and
Oh, baby signs. Yep.
dumbbell.
That was huge for my kids too. As they were growing up, using baby signs, learning that initial baseline of sign language was great.
Look at how cute with the heart together. Thank you so much for that, dumbbell. Thank you so much for helping out. I really appreciate you for this. Thank you for accepting the deal. Are you telling me that maybe I could do sales in the future?
You know,
Oh, this is too close to the other. Let me put you here.
probably a dumb question, but for this occasion, is there a way to say stonks like the meme? You would just finger spell stonks. It's because it's the same way with like stocks. There's no sign for like investing in stocks or things like that. So stonks would be finger spelled. Unfortunately.
Chat! We're 20 away. Sorry, I'm very excited. Wait, what? Ashkelon! We're not 20 away. We reached the goal. Fucking hell, chat. Let's go. Let's go. Ashkelon, thank you so much for that. Ashkelon, thank you so much for it. Thank you. Wait. Did I? I'm confusing if I wrote you a ball from yesterday. No, I haven't. So for 20, do you want like you got the round one? Chad, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Thank you for being so nice towards each other and towards
They
other
did it.
people. Thank you. I got you the round one, Ashkelon.
They did it.
Ashkelon. Yeah, for real. With the
That's
heart.
awesome. How often do you finger spell generally in a conversation? Hold on. Wait one. There it is, Ashkelon.
Thank you so much for that. Sato, did you fix your mic? No. Perfect. Perfect. You can sign your questions. You can sign your questions. Wait, let me put Ashkelon up here.
It may not let him unmute until you let him in. I'm not sure.
No, usually before we could hear Guado before he joined.
Oh, that's true. So I don't know.
We can go beyond. Of course we
Your
can.
browser needs to have access to your mic,
Mm.
and then you'll have to unmute it after that.
I am muted while waiting. Oh, you're muted while waiting, but if I bring you up, you're not gonna be muted?
Oh, see?
Do you want to do a test?
Need to go. I am starving. Dumbbells going.
Bye, Dumbo. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for helping us out.
Yes.
Let's try to.
Awesome.
I'll try to bring you to on stream. Can you talk? You're not actually on stream. Oh,
Can you hear me?
you can. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Hi. Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, everyone.
How are you doing? How is it
Hi.
going today?
It's going
Aw.
not so much well.
Oh,
I have
shit.
an exam in
Oh.
4 days, so I'm a bit anxious.
Mhm.
He's not coming through very well for me on the captions, so I don't know. You might have to repeat what he asks.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm
But
so
maybe
sorry.
it's because it's a little bit muffled. Yeah. No worries.
Oh, okay.
So,
What is your question?
Go for it.
okay, I was the guy that I asked before if I was a doctor. I'm a medicine school student. I wanted to ask if I was a doctor, or should I ask to a deaf patient if I could visit them. So or you can ask how can I visit your back or your how can I
Oh,
how can I how can I
and different parts. Abscult.
auscultate
Okay.
auscult how
Uh,
can I auscult your heart or
Chris, did you get the
such
question, or would you like me to ask
or
it again?
The last part of it, can you the part that
It,
he's actually, I guess, asking about? I got the
yeah,
part.
it
I think
is
that earlier you were the one that asked about the doctor visiting with a patient. That was your question, correct?
yes
and
yes
with different parts of the body, I
correct
guess also.
Yeah.
Am I right, Statwa? So you're asking
yes
also,
yes
can I touch your back? Like, can I visit your back? Can I abscult your heart? Can
yeah
I
yes
So if you
yes
need to use your stethoscope or the blood pressure cuff or
yes
like yeah,
yes
but also like, can I touch you? Can I
okay
visit your leg? Can I visit your back? Can I visit
yeah,
your hand?
yes
yeah. So as far as an ASL, American Sign Language, you would simply say, is it okay if I touch, and then you would signify the area. So like,
mm.
I need to listen to your
Mm-hmm.
lungs, right? To your lungs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna touch your back. So you would be,
Mm.
like that. Show the stethoscope. I'm gonna touch your back. You would signify the area that you need to touch.
So
And then
this and this
yeah,
like
so that it would be
okay
that simple. You could literally just show them the stethoscope and say, "Listen." So like,
mm.
listen, and then touch your back,
Okay.
and then it makes sense. Most people are accustomed to going to the doctor and having those
Mm-hmm.
kind of vital checks and things like that done,
Mm-hmm.
so they're going to understand right off. It's like my kids, when the doctor comes into do their appointments
Mm-hmm.
now and they put the stethoscope in, they automatically start breathing, like they're ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
Most people, you
Yes.
build up a regular routine with that. So
Yes.
asking for permission, I'm sure in medical school they teach you that you should always ask first.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same way, just being like, hey, I need to listen to your lungs, or I need to listen to your heart, things like that. Same thing with like if there's pain somewhere. So I know as a doctor, you have to like do the pressure check on the abdominal
Okay.
region, things like
Yes.
that. So
Yes.
it's the same
Yes.
thing. You can say like, so I'm going to touch or pressure check your stomach, and then you would like rub around your stomach, the abdominal
Mm-hmm.
region.
Mm-hmm.
So very
Mm-hmm.
direct. Don't beat around the bush. Don't be
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, is it okay if I touch different parts of your body?
Mm-hmm.
Just be very direct. Hey, I need to touch your stomach, pressure check on your abdominal region. I need to listen to your back. That's how communication in the deaf culture and deaf community is. It's very direct. So
Mm-hmm.
very easy to do.
Yes.
Great question though.
Mm-hmm. Understood. Thank you. But can I ask you another question?
Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more like
What
think
are
about it like a conversation.
okay?
Wait a second. Wait a
how
second.
can
Wait, sorry. Just because like there is the prime sound that is gonna cover you. Diego,
Not
Diego,
for me.
thank you. Diego, thank you for the 5 months. I appreciate you. I appreciate you very much. Thank you for it. Thank you.
not
Sorry for interrupting. He's saying it's fine. It's fine. Now you can go. Thank you.
okay? What are the things that a doctor can generally do to make a deaf patient to be at ease, like uh, to easy up the visit, like yes, you previously you said that you said before that the doctors usually left the open door, like things like this. Or what are other things that the doctor can do
To help kind of
such way
put the
to help
patient at
the
ease a
patient?
little bit, help them
Yes,
feel
yes,
comfortable. I'd
yes.
say as far as patients that are deaf, it depends on the age range you're dealing with. So obviously, like with kids, a sense of humor is going to go a long way, even within the deaf community. You can't come in and say jokes because it's going to have little to no effect. So that kind of, I always call it what's his name? Charlie Chaplin approach is always the best with kids, if you know who Charlie Chaplin is.
Yeah.
So silent movies,
You
had
go
the
like-
mustache, did all the falling down and the physical humor.
Oh.
So with deaf children, physical humor is big. So with children that are deaf or hard of hearing and things like that, overplaying things makes them feel comfortable, makes them laugh. So, you know, you can come in and you know, pull out the stethoscope and then act like you're gonna check it to see if it's cold or something before you touch them, and be like, ooh, you know, breathe on it, rub it against your shirt, whatever. Overplayed actions are funny because that's the primary sense that's being used is sight. So if you amp it up, it becomes more funny. And then for adults and things in that situation, it's similar in that having a sense of humor about it, but also showing that kind of mutual respect. So the basic signs we've gone over so far of just being like, you know, hi, my name is, and then finger spelling your name and be like, I'm learning sign, but I'm slow. And then that automatically is going to make them, they don't have to work as hard to communicate with you. That's a huge stress relief immediately. It's the same thing if someone recognizes that I'm out in public and I can't hear what they're saying, so they just immediately grab like a paper and a pen. I immediately am at ease because I recognize that they respect and understand the situation, and they're going to put a little bit of effort in. That goes a long way. It goes. I can't begin to explain how relieving that is to not be just pushed aside, to not have someone totally ignore my situation and just say, well, I'm just going to do what I normally do and you'll adapt. You know what I mean? It's to have someone show that respect, that mutual respect, to be like, okay, we're going to meet halfway on this, or as close to halfway as we can get. That speaks such high volumes about you and your character and puts them really at ease and at comfort. So just knowing a few basic signs is amazing. That's the best thing you can do for adults. With kids, knowing a few basic signs helps them too. Just being like, oh, you know, oh, it's cold. And then like trying to warm it up, things like that. They'll love it. They'll absolutely love it. It's, you know, I don't know if you've seen the videos of the doctor that does the baby shots by just continuously tapping
I
them
saw that
with
TikTok.
the syringe,
But
and then
I saw it.
eventually he just flips the cap off, and then he's done, and the baby never even knows it got a shot. Like it's just like kids' physical interaction speaks volumes in and of itself, and especially within the deaf community, because that's where the humor comes from. So I would say for making people feel at ease, those are the two biggest things I would suggest. A few basic signs to show that you respect their situation, and physical humor, like amping it up a little bit. Those are the two biggest things. How do you sign physical pain? That's the ooh thing.
Oh yeah. The ooh. That's how you remember when you're doing ooh. You're actually saying like ooh. I'm hurt. So like, you go. Do you turn it or you just point?
Both. So if you're signifying an area, you can either point like this or turn. If you're just saying pain in general, then you turn it.
Okay.
So like if you're just like pain, you're not talking about a specific area, you would turn it.
Okay.
Can I ask if they are there any specific sign for body parts like brain, heart?
Yeah.
Oh.
There are specific body parts for like the heart is basically like drawing the idea of a heart around it. The brain is up here. So you're going to do like either one finger like the middle one or the pointer finger like this. But this can also be think. But again, it's context. So if you're talking in context, then they'll know you're talking about the brain. Most of the body parts you can point to, like elbow, wrist, hand, You can just hand, leg. You would kind of just point to it. And then if you need to clarify, if it's something like one of the bones, like your tibula or your fibula or something like that, then you can finger spell it to explain it better. And instead of just pointing to one specific section, you can actually be more detailed and finger spell it. Somebody said sorry.
What?
I think it was Conca Latrava said that he might have one. He would like an answer to something. So if you want to type it, you can type it, or you can request to join after.
Kanka,
Statue.
join us on stream. You see, we're nice.
After
We're being nice, right, Statua?
Yeah, very
We're
nice.
not being bullies. I mean, we could be nice, and then the next person that comes on, we could be like, "Dumb question, get out of here." You know?
So we lure them into, and then we kick them. Okay, I like this. I like it. Do you have anything else that you would like to ask?
Yes, it's American Sign Language Skilded. You're asking which sign language I'm teaching. I'm specifically talking about ASL, American Sign Language. Sorry, go ahead, Statue.
Just another question.
Go for it.
This is a more specific one. How you can do a psychotherapy session in I know it's a big question, but how we can express concepts like being depressed, not
Like deep feelings.
Like yes,
Yeah.
like lack of pleasure, something like.
So, for some feelings and emotions, there are specific signs for them. Depression, things like that are very common. Then
I'll
there
be
are
right
signs
back.
that
I'll be right back. You answer. I'll be right back.
Okay. There are signs that exist now that have been developed over time as it's become more of a prevalent thing. For some, it's just seen as like an increased form of another emotion. So like previously in the past, depression was just a deeper form of sadness. So if you're sad, then they would just accentuate it. Like it's just, oh, I'm depressed, like it's sad and tired kind of mixed together. So they would just do like an accentuated. Now there's actually, over the years, they've developed actual signs for those. So yes, in some cases, there are specific signs for mental states, emotional states, things like that. In a lot of cases, they're a accentuated version of another feeling, a much baser level feeling, like a higher level feeling, like happy, sad, excited, angry, things like that are the very like the basic emotions, and then it's just kind of expanded upon in a lot of cases. But as things again become more prevalent, like depression and anxiety, because there's like nervousness, like nervousness or worried. But then there's also signs for like, I'm pretty sure there's a sign for anxiety. But used to, it was just like a heavier version of worried and like nervous at the same time. So you would just kind of be like, that would be anxiety. There might be an actual sign for anxiety now. I don't want to give you a wrong answer, but let me look real quick. Anxious, depressed, worried. Yeah. So it all is kind of. So yeah, so it's very, very similar. So now anxious has like its own, like you do like one steady hand and then you have like one shaky hand, and that's considered anxious or anxiety. So it has developed its own sign over time. Used to, it was just an accentuated version of worried. But then as medical science progressed, we realized that anxiety is not the same as worry. It's its own thing. So as those progress, so do the signs to keep up with it. So now anxiety has its own sign because it's not just worry. So yeah, there's definitely specific signs for certain ones.
Mm. Thank you.
Did you get your answer? Your answer?
Yeah.
Okay. It's actually curious to know, like it must be so difficult. Like it is already so difficult to talk about your emotions. So like talking to a psychologist about your emotions when you cannot talk must be so difficult.
Or tomorrow.
Even with my situation, I had to switch to online therapy. Like when I was seeing a therapist anyway, and then when I started losing my hearing, I could no longer do it in person because I needed the captions because neither one of us knew how to communicate with each other. I wasn't learning sign yet. I wasn't good at reading lips yet. Not that good, not as good as I am now. So there was for 6 months to a year, there was a very big disconnect. So we had to go to strictly online where I could have the captions, which just isn't the same. I don't care what anybody says. Online therapy is not the same as sitting face to face with someone and really going through and feeling the connection between the person who's actually listening to you. That's kind of lost on a computer screen. It's still helpful. It's more helpful than nothing, obviously. But it's just not quite the same, at least for me. So there's always a change. So yeah, if I hadn't have been hearing and speaking for the majority of my life, talking about my emotions when I couldn't speak would just be a whole different beast, I think.
Oh man.
There are things that as a hearing person I wouldn't understand about someone with a hearing loss.
Yeah. Tell me.
So I hope you got your answers. We have one more person that is ready to join us.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
If you
very
can still
kindly.
ask questions in chat if you want, or you can come back later if you still get new questions.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And
You're
you can feel
fantastic.
free to reach out to me on Discord and stuff too. Okay.
That's for sure.
Yeah. Message me on Discord if you want to.
Of course.
Thank you, Statwa.
Bye bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye. Okay.
Oh, deeper psychological concepts too. How to explain the Jungian concept, etc. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
That's fine. You can reach out to them. We have one more person that it was
I'm
waiting
not
in the
very smart
backstage.
psychologically. I'm not good with the psychological stuff, or not as good. I learned a lot more going through this, but yeah, that's deep stuff for me.
Oh, we have one more person. That's Messi. Yeah, we have Messi.
Lionel?
Yeah, Lionel Messi. Hi.
Messi?
Hi, Messi.
Yo, big fan. Big fan.
Hi, nice to meet you. You are
I'm
on
not
the
getting
stream right now. Are you there? I think that he froze. Can you hear us?
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hi.
Oh,
How are
okay.
you?
Now you're coming through. Yeah.
Can you hear me properly?
Yeah, very much.
Nope.
Ah.
Deaf humor for you.
Oh, sorry. That one was actually nice.
I have fun with it. Don't worry about it.
The perfect question.
So
That's all right. You did it to me earlier. So
can you read everything properly?
yes, there you go. See, bam, awareness. I love it.
It's asking if
So-
you can read him properly. Chris, can you read him properly?
Yes, I
Okay,
can.
okay.
Okay, so I hope it's not gonna be a dumb question like
There's
you-
no dumb
you said
questions.
before. But I would love to ask you like daily basic routine, like what's the most difficult action that you that you can do it. I mean, just in a basic daily routine, like going just to the supermarket or being with your family. What's the most difficult part of it?
So there's layers to this, and I know you didn't ask for layers, but just to prove that it's not a dumb question, because there really is no dumb question. Seeking knowledge is seeking knowledge, period. So I'm very happy you asked. But to show that it's not a dumb question, there are layers to that. So the most difficult thing for me on a daily basis is interacting with other people, for sure. So going to the
Okay.
store would be the primary example that I could give you. Going to the store is always nerve-wracking. It's petrifying to me because although it hasn't happened too many times, there's always the fear that I'm going to run into that situation where someone refuses to
that's
cooperate or work with me on how to communicate. So
okay.
that's
So that's
probably my hardest task. The
scary.
layers to that would be that there's other things that are harder, like being around my family, because it's harder on an emotional level, because the older members of my family feel that they're too old to learn a new language. The younger members of my family maybe don't have interest in it, or we don't see each other enough for it to really be relevant to them. So family get-togethers, being around them and stuff and everything is much harder on an emotional level because I can't interact with them the way that I once did. So like that's what I mean by there's layers to it. So the hardest thing on a normal basis is going to the store. The hardest thing emotionally is like being around my loved ones and not being able to communicate with them the same.
I just
Okay.
typed to mess that I really like his tattoos. I like the tattoos.
Thank
Sorry.
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Uh,
Focus. Sorry.
This one was my only question, but because you explained a lot even before, it's my first streaming with you that I'm seeing today.
Mhm.
But I know you did a last like couple of weeks ago, probably another one. But yeah, that one was my only question because I
Oh.
think you're playing good and you are a great teacher as well about the
Oh, can you?
ESL, if I'm not wrong.
Do you want to try to introduce yourself? Like, do you? Oh no, you didn't learn this because
Yeah,
you
he
were
said he
not
wasn't
here
here
the first
Hopefully
time.
not.
Because he was not here the first time. Shit.
But you can learn real quick because you're here with me right now. You ready?
Yeah, that's
You want to give it a
that's
shot?
true. Yeah, yeah,
So-
of course.
Hi.
Hi,
Yep. Just like hi.
Hi.
My
my
name. So 2 fingers on each hands. Tap together. Name.
name.
No, just
Yeah.
like
So my name.
Okay, yeah.
My name. And then
uh,
in this case, we'll use Mess because your name is Mr. Mess.
Yeah.
So we'll use Mess.
Yeah.
So 3 fingers over the thumb is M. I don't know if you can see
Three
that.
finger over the thumb?
3 fingers over the thumb. Yep, is M.
Yeah.
E. Make like an E shape with your
I
hand.
still don't know where you see the E
Yeah.
here, but it's okay.
Fingers curved. So if you look, like somebody in chat typed Sag, there's the circle and the stick that comes underneath.
Oh,
It's
okay,
E.
okay.
So
Okay,
E.
yeah.
And then this is S. Don't ask me where the S is in this, but there's an S.
Okay.
So thumb in front, so like a
Yeah.
fist basically.
So
like you-
it's all fist with him. Like
Yeah.
it's
Sorry.
M. So MES.
Yep. And then for multiple letters in a finger spelling, you slide it. So M
M.
E S S
MES.
and then slide it S. Yep.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
hi,
Okay, so hi,
my name.
my name.
M E S
Um,
S.
Oh.
Yeah. 3 fingers
hi.
over the thumb. Yep.
So hi, my name, and M E.
Over the thumb. Sorry. The 3
Oh,
fingers go over the thumb.
Yeah, sorry.
For the
M.
M. Yep, there you go.
E
Perfect.
S S.
That's it.
Good job.
That's it. You just introduced yourself.
Good job.
Thank you.
To which I would say,
Thank
nice to meet you.
I
Yep.
Nice.
Slide across the
Nice.
hand. Nice
you. Meet you.
to
meet
meet.
with 1 finger. So
Nice
nice
to-
to meet you.
Nice,
To meet you. All right.
2. Nice to meet you too.
Oh, nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, Mess, for
Oh.
being part of this.
I
No
love
worries.
this. This is
Thank
great.
you for having me here.
Of course. Do you have any other questions?
Yeah.
You can also say no. It's
Not
fine.
really, to be honest. Yeah, not really, to be honest, because you like we've been here together for 2 hours. I've been here from the beginning,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
I
okay.
think a
Claps
lot
in
of
chat for
you
that.
answer. Yeah, thank you, thank you for the support as well in chat. So you've been here for a couple of hours now, and you explain a lot of your life and what are you going through. So yeah, I will just say thank you, and thank you for having me here.
Of course. Thank you for thank you for getting the courage to come on stream and not being like those
Yeah.
other people that are out there watching and they don't want to come in the stream. But thank you for being brave.
Be an inspiration. Be an
Yeah.
inspiration.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
Nice.
I love this.
Yeah.
being
This
able to
is so
bring in
nice.
people.
I like it. I mean, you
You
said
get more personal questions and stuff. I like it a lot.
yeah. Okay. If he just okay, I
love
got
this.
it. Nice. You'll
I'm
never
heavy
come in
deaf
front of a
using
camera.
hearing implements, and I've never learned sign language, so it's even interesting for me. Oh, that's interesting. You
That's
have like
so
cochlear.
cool.
You have like cochlear implants.
Wait, where are those? Isn't it close to
Moshiko?
Dumbo?
Moshiko? No. Like a C like this.
Oh, let's
Because
see.
the implant goes right here.
Yeah.
So they go in, they install a chip on your nervous system on the cochlear nerve, and then it runs to a magnet that's on the inside of the skull here and an implant that goes on the outside. The sound comes in and it translates it to a digital electronic signal that goes to the cochlear nerve, like to the brain center.
Okay.
And so it translates sounds for you. So it allows you to be able to hear. So the sign for it is like a C like that on the back of the head. So cochlear, behind the ear.
Okay. Oh, here. Okay. Oh.
Where your headphone is, actually. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Where am?
So that's why it was difficult for you. Bam.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So Moshiko is that? Do you have cochlears or something else?
Vivir Eslava is saying that they're from Spain.
Says yes. Sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Vivir Eslava said that they're from Spain and the sign language is a bit different there, but.
Mhm.
But at the same time, like there are some things like Vivir Eslava. Do you know sign language, like Spanish sign language? So it would be lovely to know what difference are you seeing, right? A standard solution, or there maybe a fear of differentiation. Wait, what? Why is that a standard solution other than maybe fear of the operation? Why? Oh,
Okay. So I think what where I was asking is why why is it not a standard procedure? Like, why wouldn't everybody that's deaf get a cochlear implant?
yeah.
In my situation,
Mm-hmm.
specifically, I will speak directly to my situation for the majority of it, which is I'm not applicable. I'm not acceptable for a cochlear implant because of my injury to my brain. It would actually do more harm than good to go in and try to do that.
Oh.
It wouldn't affect anything because I think I talked about it last time. Traumatic brain injuries cause scar tissue, brain's producing cells to try to repair it. Didn't know that it was good, kept producing cells, which clumped up and made a tumor that has put pressure on the nervous system of my brain. So where the cochlear implant would go is where the tumor is, and it's inoperable. So I'm not eligible for a cochlear.
Holy
So
shit.
there are extenuating circumstances that render people ineligible. It can also be you can also be ineligible because of your age, because of the risk, because you're literally doing an operation where you're implanting something in someone's skull in someone's brain. So there's risk involved. So not everybody's eligible in that sense. And then also, like I said before, within every culture and within every community, there are people who see things as negative.
Okay.
So that could be seen as not accepting your deafness and being proud of it and trying to change yourself to be hearing. So some people see it as a negative of like, you don't accept who you are, you're trying to change who you are, kind of thing. So there's some people are ineligible, and then a small portion, I don't even want to say small, I don't want to be inaccurate, a certain portion of the deaf community sees it as a negative to try to change yourself. Like, it's just, again, with every culture, there's going to be different viewpoints.
Okay.
And yeah, somebody said, and it may not work from what I know. Yeah, there's still a percentage chance that they could implant it and then can't get it to actually work right the way it's supposed to because your brain won't receive the signals the correct way. So still a chance it doesn't work. So
we still have the request open. If someone wants to come on stream again and ask more questions, very much welcome to join us. I wanted to go for the fight. Do you wanna get into a fight with me? Are you ready?
More than anything.
What do you mean more than anything? What the fuck? What do you mean it's more than anything?
Like a thumb war, you know? You ever
No,
do
you,
the hands and you go, 1,
what?
2, 3, 4, I declare a thumb war, you know, that whole thing.
You were definitely not referring to that.
Watch out for she fights dirty. Watch out for such...
What do you mean I fight there? Oh, chat.
I can believe it. I can believe it.
I don't. I cannot believe you, chat, saying these things about me. What?
It's funny to me to see all these people in here that have all the opinions, you know, like destroy her, blah blah blah, like all that. But yet they're all too nervous to come be on cam. They finally have a chance to be in front of G and speak their mind.
Chat,
And they're all like, no.
Chat, you got flamed. You got no. I'm not the only one getting flamed by him today. Let's go. Let's go.
I've learned to be very direct and speak my mind.
That makes. Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah. Oh burn. Mic drop. Burn. Chat. Ah.
You're not safe either, G.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
You were very nervous. I know, but it's fine. It was fine. We were not mean, right? It was cool. It's like getting in a call with friends, like in a video call with friends. Ignore the rest of the people, but you were with us.
But if it is that much anxiety for you that you don't want to do it or you're too shy, totally understand that. It took me a long time to get over. Like earlier, I think at one point you had like 2,400 people in here, and I didn't realize it until I looked up and saw the number.
That's
and then
right.
I kind of immediately zoned out and became a little nervous. And then you started asking me like, do you understand what he's saying? And I was like, yeah, I am. I'm just really, really nervous right now. Like, I get what he's saying.
That's why you should hide that number. Hide that number. Keep it. Take it away. Keep it away.
I wish I could.
Wait, I wanted to... Let me hide a chat for this one. I wanted you to see here. Wait. I want to screen share my screen so you can close. You're not seeing me right now. I know. Where?
I'm looking at your stream.
Okay.
Instead of like this guest thing, I'm looking at the stream.
Oh, so...
Because the stream is bigger.
You cannot. Man, I made a lot of things so complicated so that I could like just show you the screen. So you're always watching the stream.
Not always, just right now.
Okay, because I have like the wait. Let me put one guest. I put you right there. You could see like the video right now. It's a video about Italians having conversation.